Chapter 242, Greedy Dragon Clan, Ideological Education, 2, Master, I mean that our Phoenix clan needs sycamore trees, and there are none in the spirit beast space, Feng Zhan explained after a pause. That's why I came to find you. Come with me. With a thought, Leng Ruoxue entered the heaven and earth bracelet with Feng Zhan. Master, where is this place? The spiritual energy here is so dense. Feng Zhan looked at the beautiful scenery in front of him, and his jaw almost dropped to the ground in surprise. This is my space. You will live here from now on. As for the sycamore trees, you can move them in, Leng Ruoxue said to the slightly dazed Feng Zhan. How is it? Are you satisfied with this place? Leng Ruoxue asked when she saw that Feng Zhan didn't react for a long time. Yes, satisfied. Very satisfied. Feng Zhan hurriedly said when he came to his senses. His phoenix eyes looked around unblinkingly. Wow! This place is too beautiful. He couldn't look away. It's good that you are satisfied. Go and tell your clan to pack up and prepare to move. Leng Ruoxue directly ordered. Master, can we eat those fruits on the trees? Feng Zhan looked at the spirit fruits hanging on the branches and almost drooled. He really didn't expect his master to have so many spirit fruits. Wow! This is so blissful. Leng Ruoxue nodded and then warned, yes, but don't waste them. I promise we won't. Feng Zhan immediately raised a hand to assure her. His absolutely beautiful face was about to bloom with a smile. Okay. Feng Zhan, get your clan to pack up but only move a portion of them first. The others will move in when we leave, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought with a frown. Master, don't worry. I'll handle it. After settling the matter with the Phoenix clan, Leng Ruoxue brought Feng Zhan out of the bracelet and returned to the wooden house. Big brother Feng, why aren't you asleep yet? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously when she saw Feng Moran sitting in the living room. I'm waiting for you. Shuer, are we leaving the Phoenix clan? Feng Moran asked directly. Yes, we will leave after the transaction with the Dragon Emperor, Leng Ruoxue explained. Okay. Big brother Feng, just tell me what you want to say, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. What is so difficult for you to say? Shuer, have you thought about what Grandpa said a few days ago? Feng Moran asked curiously. No, Patriarch Feng must be joking. Leng Ruoxue said honestly. The Feng family was different from Old Man. After all, Old Man had gone through thick and thin with them, so she had a higher level of trust in him. But she didn't know anyone in the Feng family well other than the two brothers, so the ally relationship was enough for her. Shuer, Grandpa wasn't joking. So please consider it if there's a chance. Feng Moran suggested. His selfish hope was that the Feng family could have a deeper relationship with Shuer. After all, there were only a few people left in the Feng family, and he couldn't watch helplessly as his only relatives fell into danger. Following Shuer was the best choice. Okay, I will consider it, Leng Ruoxue replied. She might not take other people's words seriously, but she couldn't ignore Big Brother Feng's words. After Leng Ruoxue and Feng Moran finished chatting, they returned to their respective rooms to rest. The next day, Leng Ruoxue found time to go directly to the patriarch and first elder of the Feng family. After a round of secret talks with them, she officially took the Feng family under her wing. No one even knew what the three of them talked about. After settling the matter, Leng Ruoxue brought the two of them into the heaven and earth bracelet. This place is... The two old men were stunned when they saw the scene in front of them. This is my space. Aoran is in that room. Go and see him. Leng Ruoxue said to the two. Oh. The two people reacted and walked toward the bamboo house that Leng Ruoxue mentioned while observing the scenery in front of them. Leng Qingtian came to his granddaughter's side and said with disapproval, Shuer, why did you bring them in? Grandpa, they are one of us now, Leng Ruoxue explained. She blocked communications with the bracelet just now, so her grandfather didn't know that she had already taken in the Feng family. One of us. Can they be trusted? Ling Qingtian was a little skeptical. Those aristocratic families had worked hard for their own families all their lives, so how could they become loyal to others so easily? Yes, they have signed a bloodline contract from the heaven-defying art, Ling Ruoxue explained. The overbearing aspect of this bloodline contract was that any descendant related to them would be bound by the contract as long as it was their bloodline, be it main or side branches. That's good. Ling Qingtian was relieved. He didn't want his granddaughter to be in any danger. At this moment, Qing Ju appeared in front of Ling Ruoxue and reminded, "Big sister, the Phoenix King is here to see you, got it? Grandpa, I'm leaving first." After saying goodbye to Ling Qingtian, Ling Ruoxue immediately left the Heaven and Earth bracelet. "Feng Zhan, why are you here?" Ling Ruoxue asked curiously. "Master, we've already packed up," Feng Zhan said a little impatiently. He hadn't slept for the entire night yesterday. After leaving the space, he had immediately ordered his clan to pack up. So fast. Ling Ruoxue was a little surprised. Feng Zhan's work efficiency is quite high. Yes, everyone wants to move to their new home as soon as possible, Feng Zhan explained. He wanted to too, but he knew that he had to stay outside for the time being. Boo-hoo. Then let's go. Ling Ruoxue smiled lightly and left the wooden house with Feng Zhan. After 4 hours of work, Ling Ruoxue sent 2/3 of the Phoenix clan into the Heaven and Earth bracelet. "Qing Ju, give them a place to live," Ling Ruoxue ordered in the bracelet. "Don't worry, big sister. I've already arranged everything," Qing Ju said understandingly. He had been preparing it since his big sister accepted the Phoenix clan. "Very good," Ling Ruoxue praised. She picked Qing Ju up and pinched his tender little face. Chapter 243, Greedy Dragon Clan, Ideological Education, 3, Big Sister. Qing Ju pouted his pink lips in dissatisfaction. "Hee, Qing Ju, bring them along," Ling Ruoxue said awkwardly as she placed Qing Ju on the ground. "Schwer, I'm very cute too. Pinch me." The little silver mink, who had a surge of jealousy, jumped into Ling Ruoxue's arms. Ling Ruoxue looked the little mink up and down and finally said very honestly, "You're too thin. Pinching you isn't fun." "Woo-woo. Then I'll eat until I get fatter," the little silver mink said ingratiatingly. He was going to go all out. Ling Ruoxue deliberately paused before saying with disapproval, "Get fatter? Then you will become a ball like baby." "Big sister, I'm not that fat." A small black furball rolled to Ling Ruoxue's feet and complained, his big blue eyes full of grievances. "Yes, baby is much fatter than before," Ling Qingtian said seriously as he picked up the furball from the ground. "Boo-hoo. Baby isn't fat." Baby wailed aggrievedly as crystal tears rolled down his big blue eyes. "Not fat, not fat. We were just joking with baby," Ling Ruoxue quickly coaxed. A few drops of cold sweat rolled down her forehead. "Alas! Why do all my beasts like to cry so much? Big sister is bullying baby," baby complained with tears in his eyes. "Ah!" Ling Ruoxue was speechless. "When did I bully this little thing?" "Ha, Ruoxue, your beasts are all very difficult to deal with." Lin Liang laughed hysterically. "These little things are really too cute. Moreover, that girl is actually being controlled by her beasts." "Ha! Grandpa Lin, if you continue smiling, your saliva will drip down," Ling Ruoxue said lightly. Really?" Lin Liang was a little puzzled, but he still wiped the corner of his mouth with his hand. "Ha, brat Lin, who asked you to make a joke about little girl? You've been fooled now," old man said gloatingly. "Humph." Lin Liang snorted and ignored old man. But he looked at Ling Ruoxue aggrievedly. "You guys continue chatting. I'm going out first." Leng Ruoxue ignored Lin Liang's bitterness and directly escaped. After leaving the bracelet, Leng Ruoxue also brought Feng Zhan out. Master, why did you bring me out? Feng Zhan asked in puzzlement. Wasn't I planting sycamore trees with the clan just now? I brought you out because it's better for you to stay outside as the king of the clan, Leng Ruoxue explained while looking at the somewhat depressed Feng Zhan. In fact, she was afraid that the dragon clan would suddenly come, so she brought Feng Zhan out. Hee. When we leave, you can stay inside for as long as you want, Leng Ruoxue added. Master, King, the dragon clan requests an audience. A guard came to report just as Leng Ruoxue finished speaking. Bring the dragon clan to the main hall first. The Phoenix King and I will be there soon. Leng Ruoxue ordered the Vermilion Bird Guard. Speak of the devil. After deliberately waiting for a while, Leng Ruoxue and Feng Zhan walked toward the main hall of the Phoenix clan. In the main hall of the Phoenix clan, the second elder was sitting alone in his chair with numerous thoughts in his mind. He kept thinking about how to talk later and how to obtain the greatest benefits for the dragon clan. So, it's second elder who has graced us with your presence. Feng Zhan entered the hall and reminded Leng Ruoxue of the old man's identity. Your Majesty, this old man greets you. The second elder stood up and bowed respectfully. The second elder looked at the beautiful woman beside Feng Zhan and asked uncertainty, You must be Miss Leng? I am Leng Ruoxue. Hello, second elder, Leng Ruoxue said very politely. Ah. Miss Leng, it's a pleasure to meet you. This old man was rude, the second elder hurriedly said and bowed again. Hee, second elder, there's no need to be so polite. Please take a seat, Feng Zhan said with a light smile. Phoenix King, I'm here to negotiate with you on behalf of the dragon clan, the second elder said straightforwardly after they were seated. Has the dragon clan already discussed it? Feng Zhan asked knowingly. We've discussed it. We are willing to make a deal with Miss Leng, the second elder said with a smile, but he couldn't help cursing in his heart. Rubbish. What am I doing here if we didn't discuss it beforehand? Fight with you. Second elder, tell me your conditions. Leng Ruoxue asked directly without hesitation. Well, after the unanimous consent of all the elders of the dragon clan, we are willing to send 50 clan members to establish contracts with Miss Leng's subordinates. However, we request the same number of pills that can advance holy beasts, as well as pills and spirit fruits that can heal injuries, the second elder said carefully. You want them all in the same number? Leng Ruoxue frowned. This dragon clan is really greedy. They actually want so many things. Yes. If Miss Leng didn't have what we needed, we wouldn't have agreed. After all, dragons don't contract with humans, the second elder explained, but he was a little nervous. He also knew that they wanted a little too much, but it was all negotiable. Except for the pills that can advance holy beasts, there are no problems with the rest, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. The dragon clan is really good at scheming. Using 50 clan members in exchange for 50 pills that can promote them to divine beasts, coupled with the dragons that would become my subordinate spirit beasts, the dragon clan would be equivalent to having an additional 100 divine beasts. After all, it was impossible for her to leave her subordinates' contract beasts alone. The second elder gritted his teeth and said with a troubled expression, 30 pills will do then. We won't change the rest, except for the pills for advancement, there are no problems with the rest, Leng Ruoxue repeated coldly. It wasn't so easy to take advantage of her. I have to go back and discuss this with His Majesty and the elders. The second elder had no other choice after seeing that Leng Ruoxue was unwilling to relent. Okay, I won't see you out. Second elder, please. Leng Ruoxue said coldly. She left before the second elder even got up. Chapter 244, Greedy Dragon Clan, Ideological Education, 4, Master, this dragon clan is too much. Why don't I lead some of our clan to destroy them? Feng Zhan suggested after catching up to Leng Ruoxue. There's no need. I'll let the Dragon Clan know that it's not so easy to take advantage of me, Len Ruoxue said nonchalantly. If she wanted to settle it with violence, she would have done it a long time ago and wouldn't have waited until now. Moreover, she had always believed that submission of the soul was much more important than violence, so she would make the Dragon Clan regret it. Master, will the Dragon Clan agree? Feng Zhan asked uncertainly. 50 more divine beasts is better than none, so they will definitely agree, Len Ruoxue said very confidently. This was the main reason why she dared to negotiate with the Dragon Clan. I hope the Dragon Clan is sensible. Otherwise, don't blame me for being nasty, Feng Zhan said fiercely, killing intent shining in his eyes. Feng Zhan, do you have a great enmity with the Dragon Clan? A few drops of cold sweat dripped down Len Ruoxue's forehead. She couldn't help wondering curiously why dragons and phoenixes always wanted to fight. How should I put it? Actually, there isn't much enmity between our two races. We just don't like each other. When we meet, we have to fight each other. Otherwise, we won't feel comfortable all over. Moreover, the Phoenix Clan and the Dragon Clan also like to drag each other down, Feng Zhan explained with some embarrassment. These enmities were engraved into their bones and had been passed down generation after generation. Therefore, dragons and phoenixes had always been unable to get along peacefully. But why do I feel that your two races are a little like lovers bickering and fighting? Len Ruoxue asked doubtfully. How is that possible? No member of the Phoenix Clan would like those stinky dragons. Feng Zhan jumped up excitedly and denied. I'm just saying casually. Calm down. There's no need to overreact, Len Ruoxue quickly comforted. Master, those stinky dragons shouldn't be coming again today. Please let me in. Feng Zhan changed the topic awkwardly. Okay. Len Ruoxue sent Feng Zhan into the bracelet alone but didn't follow him in. Instead, she returned to her room in the wooden house and went to sleep. Dragon Island. The second elder left the Phoenix Clan's territory and returned to Dragon Island in embarrassment. In the main hall of the Dragon Island, Long Hao and the others were waiting for news from the second elder. Second elder, how was it? Did you succeed? All the elders crowded around the second elder and bombarded him with questions as soon as he walked into the main hall. No, Len Ruoxue didn't agree. The second elder glanced at the Dragon Emperor, who was also staring at him intently. He sighed heavily and then sat down in his chair. Humph. This Len Ruoxue really doesn't know what's good for her. Our Dragon Clan thinks highly of her and is willing to transact with her, but she actually refused. The seventh elder roared indignantly and took the lead to launch an attack. Long Hao rolled his eyes at the seventh elder and asked directly, Second elder, what did she say? Except for the pills for advancement, there are no problems with the rest. The second elder didn't beat around the bush and directly revealed the result. She refused to give us the pills to advance? Long Hao asked again. Yes, she refused to change that one. The second elder sighed helplessly. He had tried his best. Your Majesty, since Len Ruoxue doesn't know how to appreciate favors, why don't you let me lead people to snatch them? The seventh elder stood up from his chair and volunteered. Go on. If you don't come back, we won't go save you, Long Hao said coldly while looking at the seventh elder like he was an idiot. Snatch? If he could, he would have snatched them from Len Ruoxue a long time ago. Why would he bother to think about making a deal with her? Facing the strange gazes of the elders, the seventh elder only felt his face burning and wanted to find a hole to burrow into. I seem to have said something stupid just now. Second elder, what do you think of this matter? Long Hao asked. After all, he was the one who handled this matter, so he should know Len Ruoxue's attitude better than anyone else. Your Majesty, I think Len Ruoxue's condition is far from what we expected, but it's not impossible to agree, the second elder said after some thought. In fact, he also felt that the Dragon Clan's conditions were a little too excessive. First elder, what's your opinion? Long Hao turned to the first elder, who had his eyes closed. I have no objections. Your Majesty can decide, the first elder said indifferently without even looking up. Second elder, go to the Phoenix clan tomorrow and say that we've agreed. Bring 50 clan members there and transact directly with her, Long Hao directly ordered after hearing what the first elder said. Yes, Your Majesty. I will go and make arrangements then. The second elder didn't want to delay any longer and left immediately. Early the next morning, the second elder set off with the Dragon clan members. In the wooden house in the Phoenix clan, Feng Moran stood outside Shuer's room and knocked on the door. Hi, big brother Feng, what's the matter so early in the morning? Leng Ruoxue asked after opening the door. Shuer, thank you, Feng Moran said with a face full of gratitude. He knew that Shuer wouldn't have accepted the Feng family at all if not for him. Big brother Feng, there's no need to be so polite between us, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. She would treat anyone that she regarded as one of her own as family. I know, but I still have to thank you. Feng Moran knew very well that Shuer had never treated him as an outsider. But he didn't know how to express his gratitude other than thanking her. Big brother Feng, did you come to see me so early in the morning just to say thank you? Leng Ruoxue couldn't resist teasing. No, I'm here to tell you that a group of dragons is outside, Feng Moran quickly explained. He knew that Shuer hated it when others disturbed her sleep. Oh, hee hee. Big brother Feng, you're going to have a dragon as your contract beast too. Leng Ruoxue smiled with satisfaction. It seemed like those dragons were not hopeless yet. Shuer, I only need King Kong, Feng Moran said calmly. There were many people in the mercenary group who didn't have a divine beast yet, so how could he want a dragon? Chapter 245, Greedy Dragon Clan, Ideological Education, 5, No one will complain about having too many divine beasts, Leng Ruoxue said knowingly. She knew that the people around her were not greedy and were very modest. So as long as it was possible, she would try her best to satisfy them. All right. But you have to give them to the rest first. Give one to me only if there are any left, Feng Moran said helplessly. Relax. There will be some left even if every one of you gets one each. Leng Ruoxue left the wooden house alone and let Feng Zhan out. Master, the Dragon clan really agreed, Feng Zhan said in surprise as he approached the main hall of the Phoenix clan and saw the giant dragons descending at the entrance. He thought that those stubborn old dragons would have died before they agreed. The Dragon clan won't suffer a loss if they exchange 50 dragons with ordinary aptitudes for the pills and spirit fruits, Leng Ruoxue said. Dragons were famous for their large appetites. Since they could exchange these dragons who had no contributions to the Dragon clan for very useful pills and spirit fruits, they wouldn't have raised them for nothing. Why not do it? Master, the aptitudes of these dragons are indeed not very good. Feng Zhan's dark red phoenix eyes gently glanced at these dragons a little angrily. Damn dragons, do they think my master is a garbage collector? They're actually using these trash dragons to trade. Even though he had guessed long ago that it was impossible for the dragons to use the geniuses of their clan to carry out the transaction, he didn't expect them to be so rotten. Dragons were mainly divided into purple dragons, golden dragons, silver dragons, red dragons, blue dragons, and black dragons. Among them, purple dragons had the highest status and the best aptitudes. The dragon emperors basically came from the purple dragons. Then came the golden dragons, silver dragons, and red dragons. Red dragons were also commonly known as fire dragons. Blue dragons and black dragons had the lowest status and the worst aptitudes. In addition, there would occasionally be mutated dragons such as ice dragons, blood dragons, and purple gold dragons. Purple gold dragons were the deserving kings of the dragons and were born as dragon emperors. This time, the dragons were basically black and blue ones, and only 2 were fire dragons. Aptitude isn't important, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. She had also looked at them just now. There were approximately 30 level 9 holy beasts, and the rest were only level 7 and 8 holy beasts. That's true. Feng Zhan nodded. With the help of his master, these dragons would absolutely become the pride of the dragon clan in the future. At the same time, those self-righteous dragons such as Long Hao would also regret it. When the two of them appeared in front of the dragons at the entrance of the hall lowered their heads and bowed to them in low self-esteem. Leng Ruoxue and Feng Zhan walked past the dragons and directly entered the main hall. Miss Leng, Phoenix King, my emperor has already agreed to your conditions. I have brought the dragons with me in order to express the sincerity of our dragon clan. The sitting second elder hurriedly stood up after seeing Leng Ruoxue and the Phoenix King approaching. Thank you for your trouble, second elder. These are the things you want. They are all in here. Leng Ruoxue took out a storage ring and handed it to the second elder. The second elder took the ring and examined it with his divine sense. Then he said, Thank you, Miss Leng. I will take my leave since the transaction is over. Second elder, take care. I won't be seeing you out, Leng Ruoxue said politely. After the second elder left, Leng Ruoxue and Feng Zhan came in front of the dragons again. Raise your heads. Leng Ruoxue shouted. She didn't care about the status of these dragons in the clan. Since they belonged to her now, she would not allow them to lose their confidence and be so listless. After hearing what Leng Ruoxue said, the dragons, who were lying on the ground with their heads lowered, looked up in fear. They looked at her with tears in their eyes in fear. This female master is so fierce. Since you all belong to me now, listen carefully. I don't need cowardly and weak trash. I can give you all a chance to help you become powerhouses above all dragons. But whether you have the resolve to become powerhouses or not is not something I can decide. Leng Ruoxue's face was full of black lines as she reprimanded them. These dragons are really extraordinarily useless. I want to become a powerhouse. Master, please help me, one of the fire dragons said softly. Although it was a fire dragon, its status in the clan was inferior to even the black and blue dragons because of its poor aptitude. Okay. I will give you opportunities as long as you want to become strong. Whether you can use them well or not will depend on you, Leng Ruoxue promised. She knew that it would be difficult to change the mindset of these dragons in a short period of time. But it was fine as long as there was a dragon willing to take the lead. Eat this. Leng Ruoxue directly took out a remolding pill and threw it into the fire dragon's open mouth. What did Master give me? The fire dragon was very curious, but after a while, the fire dragon rolled on the ground in pain. Not long later, a lot of grayish-black impurities discharged from its body. Wow! It stinks. Feng Zhan covered his nose. They are really stinky dragons. I really don't know what they eat every day. Boo-hoo, my main hall. He suddenly remembered that he was near the main hall. Master. Feng Zhan looked at Leng Ruoxue aggrievedly. His main hall was ruined by this stinky dragon. Boo-hoo. We're leaving soon. Leng Ruoxue glanced at Feng Zhan and reminded him. Ah. That's true. Feng Zhan thought about it and reckoned that they wouldn't return again in the future. Master. The fire dragon had completed its remolding and was kneeling respectfully in front of Leng Ruoxue. How do you feel? Leng Ruoxue asked. Very good, the fire dragon said gratefully and stretched its body. After eating the pill given by their master, it could clearly feel that the speed it absorbed spiritual power had increased significantly, albeit it was very painful at first. Feng Zhan, go find my brother, Leng Ruoxue said to Feng Zhan beside her and sent him directly back into the bracelet. Master, got him. Feng Zhan sent a voice transmission to Leng Ruoxue after a while. With a thought, the two of them appeared in front of the dragons. Shuer, why are you looking for me? Leng Ruhan asked with a puzzled expression as soon as he emerged. Big brother, contract with it first. Leng Ruoxue pointed at the fire dragon. Chapter 246, Greedy Dragon Clan, Ideological Education, 6, okay. It was only then that Leng Ruhan realized that there were dragons all around him. Moreover, each of them had their eyes wide open and were looking at him curiously. Fire Dragon, enter into a soul contract with my brother. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Yes, Master. The Fire Dragon obediently chanted the soul contract. Immediately afterward, the contract array descended, and the contract was formally established. Then the Fire Dragon bowed respectfully to Leng Ruhan and said very politely, Master, please take care of me. Ah. Please take care of me too, Leng Ruhan said quickly. Eat this too. Leng Ruoxue threw a green spirit pill into the Fire Dragon's mouth. What's this? The Fire Dragon's big eyes looked around, but there was no reaction. Ah. I'm going to advance, the Fire Dragon suddenly screamed excitedly half an hour later. Immediately after, heaven and earth laws descended, and this Fire Dragon officially advanced to Divine Beast. Leng Ruhan also advanced 2 stages in a row and became a peak spiritual sovereign because of the advancement of his spirit beast. Schwer, I advanced too. Leng Ruhan asked in disbelief as he looked at his cultivation rapidly progressing as though he was sitting on a rocket. He had been eating spirit fruits non-stop in the space and cultivating day and night, but he had only advanced 1 stage. He didn't expect his spirit beast's advancement to allow him to advance 2 stages in a row. It was too unbelievable. Big brother, it's because it advanced to Divine Beast. Leng Ruoxue reminded. How could advancing to Divine Beast be compared to an ordinary advancement? Big brother, consolidate your cultivation first. I'll give you a heavenly essence pill in a few days, Leng Ruoxue continued. Yes, there's no rush. Master, I've become a Divine Beast. After the advancement, the Fire Dragon, who had been in a daze, came back to its senses, and its huge dragon head leaned in uncertainty. Dragons were born as holy beasts, but it had cultivated for a long time but was unable to advance to Divine Beast because of its poor aptitude. It didn't expect that it would suddenly become a Divine Beast with its master's help. This was too magical. You've become a Divine Beast, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. At the same time, she sent her brother and the Fire Dragon into the bracelet. She would let her brother explain the rest to the dragon. Master, I want to become a powerhouse too. Master, me too. Now that they saw the living example, the dragons were eager and began to rush to show Leng Ruoxue their determination. Leng Ruoxue looked at the excited dragons and nodded in satisfaction. That's right. How could dragons be more cowardly than a mouse? Okay. You have to remember that you have to grasp opportunities for yourself. You create power and status yourself. The status you were born with doesn't determine everything. Sooner or later, the other dragons will look up to you, Leng Ruoxue encouraged. Yes, Master. We want to become powerhouses that all dragons look up to. Master, please help us, the dragons said in unison. They were totally different compared to the trashy dragons they were just now. Open your mouths, Leng Ruoxue ordered and threw remolding pills directly into the mouths of all the dragons. After a while, all the dragons completed their remolding, and their mental outlook had been changed beyond recognition. They had truly been reborn. After the remolding, Leng Ruoxue moved everyone out of the bracelet. Choose any one of them you want to contract. Leng Ruoxue said to everyone. Little girl, I won't hold back then. Old man said excitedly. Dragons. They were the best spirit beasts on the Ling Feng continent and were equally as famous as phoenixes. You're welcome. Pick one quickly. Leng Ruoxue urged. Hee, then I'll choose first. Old man looked around, circled the dragons a few times, and finally chose a level 9 blue dragon. Little girl, I want this one, old man said with shining eyes. This blue dragon was the most beautiful among them. Its deep blue scales were like the most beautiful sapphires, emitting a mesmerizing glow. And its big watery eyes were looking at its new master shyly. Leng Qingtian also took a long time to pick before finally choosing a black dragon, who was also a level 9 holy beast. The black dragon was tall and mighty, and its pitch-black scales glittered in the sunlight. Schwer, Grandpa wants this one. Leng Qingtian looked at his beast with satisfaction, his love evident. Lin Liang also chose a black dragon. After picking it, he took the initiative to give up his spot and found a corner to cultivate their feelings. Patriarch Feng, First Elder, why don't you choose? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. She could understand why the mercenary group didn't move. After all, her grandfather and the others were both seniors and powerhouses, so they should choose first. But these two old men didn't move at all. We have a share too, the First Elder asked. Everyone has a share, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. She really didn't know what these two old men were thinking. Then I want this one. The First Elder hurriedly pointed at the blue dragon he had been eyeing since long ago. In fact, as much as he wanted a dragon, he knew he had joined later, so he didn't pick one. But he had chosen one long ago, and he had been thinking of asking for it from the girl when he had made some contributions in the future. Feng Jing pretty much had the same idea. I want this one then. Feng Jing pointed at a black dragon unabashedly. Lin Yuan, go and choose as well. Leng Ruoxue said to the mercenaries who had been watching eagerly. After hearing what Leng Ruoxue said, everyone went forward and chose a dragon they liked without caring about the level of the dragon. Leng Ruoxue was speechless as she looked at the remaining dragons. 38 were chosen out of the 50 dragons, and 8 of the remaining 12 were actually level 9 holy beasts. Master, what should we do? The other fire dragon, who wasn't picked, asked gloomily. Boo-hoo. Am I so unpopular? No one wanted me. Chapter 247, and it's a bird that curses. 1. Feng Zhan, go invite Big Brother Feng and Huaqing. Leng Ruoxue said to Feng Zhan after some thought. Okay, Feng Zhan replied and immediately went to the wooden house to look for them. Grandpa, I'll send you back to the space first. Leng Ruoxue sent everyone and their chosen partners back into the bracelet. Ruoxue, why are you looking for us? Huaqing, who was cultivating, asked curiously after arriving. Big Brother Feng, Huaqing, choose one each to contract. Leng Ruoxue directly said. Huaqing was stunned and speechless. There were so many dragons. He didn't even notice them just now. Schwer, I want this one. Feng Moran picked a blue dragon. Leng Ruoxue nodded and then said to the depressed fire dragon, okay. Hey, big guy, how about you acknowledge him as your master? You're red, and he likes red. You two are the most compatible. The fire dragon raised its head, and its big watery eyes examined Huaqing for a long time. Finally, it nodded, satisfied with this handsome man in red. After making up its mind, the fire dragon took the initiative to enter a soul contract. As the contract array descended, the human and dragon officially became partners. Ruoxue, Huaqing felt the mental connection with the fire dragon and didn't know what to say. This favor was too much. Huaqing, you don't have to say anything. Just treat it well, Leng Ruoxue said directly while looking at the fire dragon. She had always done things based on her mood and didn't need the gratitude of others. I will. Thank you, Huaqing said, touched. His big hand gently caressed the fire dragon's scales with complex feelings. Meanwhile, Feng Moran also completed the contract with the blue dragon he chose. Give a green spirit pill to your dragons. Leng Ruoxue handed each of them a green pill. The two of them put the pill in their dragons' mouths and waited quietly. After a while, heaven and earth laws arrived as expected. The two dragons that were level 9 holy beasts officially advanced and became divine beasts. Master. The two beasts transformed into human form and attached themselves to their new master. They were much calmer and were used to it because the other fire dragon had advanced in front of them. They were only very excited. I'm going to advance too, Feng Moran and Huaqing said almost simultaneously. With the benefits from the advancement of their beasts, the two of them advanced as expected. After that, their strength soared to peak spiritual sovereign, and they were only one step away from becoming spiritual supremacies. When Huaqing and Feng Moran were advancing, the two beasts came to Leng Ruoxue, bowed deeply, and said with gratitude, "Thank you for giving us a chance, Master." Even though they were not Leng Ruoxue's contract beasts, she was still the one who had given them a new life. In their hearts, she was also their master and someone they respected. Leng Ruoxue looked at the man and woman in front of her in surprise. She didn't expect the fire dragon to be a female. After transforming into human form, she was actually a hot and sexy great beauty. "As long as you have confidence, you will all become the pride of the dragons," Leng Ruoxue said knowingly. "Shuer. Ruoxue." At this moment, two surprised voices sounded at the same time. Feng Moran and Huaqing stood in front of Leng Ruoxue excitedly. "Not bad. You're just one step away from becoming spiritual supremacies," Leng Ruoxue said with satisfaction after looking at their strength. It was not easy to advance to spiritual supremacy, but she had heavenly essence pills, so it was only a matter of time before they became spiritual supremacies. But it's very difficult for a peak spiritual sovereign to advance to spiritual supremacy, Huaqing said calmly and sighed. "This is for you. When you're ready, you can advance to spiritual supremacy directly." Leng Ruoxue took out 2 heavenly essence pills and handed one to each of them. "What pill is this?" Huaqing looked at the milky white pill in his hand in puzzlement. "They are called heavenly essence pills. Peak spiritual sovereigns can use them to advance to spiritual supremacy," Leng Ruoxue explained simply. "There's actually a pill that can advance people to spiritual supremacy?" Huaqing was surprised. This was too magical. After all, he had never heard of this heavenly essence pill. There are too many types of pills, and it's impossible to know all of them. Moreover, heaven essence pills aren't easy to concoct, so it's normal that no one knows, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. In fact, the difficulty of concocting heaven essence pills did not lie in the level of the pill but the materials needed. "That's true," Huaqing said after some thought. "Go back to your rooms and consolidate your cultivation." Leng Ruoxue reminded them when she saw that they were still standing there foolishly. "Okay, Shuer, we're going back," Feng Moran said and left with Huaqing. "You don't have to rush. I'll find masters for you." Leng Ruoxue looked at the masterless dragons, who were looking at her with tears in their eyes, with a slight headache. After speaking, Leng Ruoxue sent the remaining 10 dragons into the bracelet and left the Phoenix clan's territory with Feng Zhan. "Master, where are we going?" Feng Zhan asked curiously. "Contract and advance for others," Leng Ruoxue said while leading Feng Zhan to the uninhabited valley where she had advanced. Upon reaching the valley, Leng Ruoxue moved everyone and their beasts out of the bracelet. "Grandpa, contract and advance here," Leng Ruoxue said to everyone. "Okay." As soon as Leng Ruoxue finished speaking, the dragons took the initiative to enter soul contracts. After they established the contracts, Leng Ruoxue distributed green spirit pills to the people with a level 9 dragon holy beast. Not long after they took the green spirit pills, heaven and earth laws descended, and all the level 9 holy dragons who had entered contracts all advanced to become divine beasts. Their masters also all advanced by the merits of their beasts. "Miss, I've advanced to spiritual sovereign." Lin Yuan ran to Leng Ruoxue happily with excitement all over his face. He was a spiritual sovereign now. He didn't even dare to think about it before. Chapter 248, and it's a bird that curses, too, Miss, we are also spiritual sovereigns. Lu Tao and Cui Zhu squeezed past Lin Yuan and spoke in unison. They were really too happy. "Not bad. You're actually advanced spiritual sovereigns now." Leng Shui nodded in satisfaction. It seemed like they had been working hard on their cultivation. Leng Ruoxue's gaze turned to the other members of the mercenary group. "Well, not bad. Their strength after advancing is higher than I expected. They're all spiritual sovereigns. She was very satisfied with this result. Shuer, Grandpa also advanced. Ling Qingtian complained, unwilling to be ignored by his precious granddaughter. Congratulations, Grandpa, Ling Ruoxue coaxed helplessly. Grandpa is really becoming more and more competitive. Miss, I didn't advance, Feng De said aggrievedly from the side, looking like he was about to cry. Captain, go away. We were also envious when you advanced, Lin Yuan mocked unrestrainedly with a smile. Feng De, they didn't advance either. Ling Ruoxue pointed at the few people who didn't advance. That's right. Captain, we don't have a divine beast yet, one of them said very cooperatively. But he was not worried at all because the advancement would happen sooner or later. Ah. Feng De was speechless. You will have one sooner or later, okay? Seeing Feng Da's deflated appearance, everyone present couldn't resist laughing out loud. Feng Zhan, let's leave this place tomorrow. Ling Ruoxue turned to Feng Zhan after sending everyone back to her space. She had already done what she wanted to do, and there was no need to stay any longer. Master, we've already packed up, Feng Zhan said excitedly. After they returned to the Phoenix clan, Ling Ruoxue headed straight for her residence. After returning to the wooden house, Ling Ruoxue went to her room to catch up on her sleep. When she woke up, she went directly to Feng Moran and Hu Qing to inform them that they were leaving tomorrow. As for the elusive Muli, she searched for him several times but couldn't find him. Little Mink, where did Muli go? Do you know? In her room, Ling Ruoxue moved the silver mink out of the space and hugged him in her arms. Shuer, don't worry about him. He won't be lost, the little silver mink said nonchalantly. Okay. But we're leaving tomorrow, Ling Ruoxue said to the little mink. Okay. The little silver mink nodded his fluffy head to show that he knew. Shuer, where are we going after we leave? The little silver mink looked up at Ling Ruoxue with his blue eyes curiously. I don't know. Ling Ruoxue really hadn't thought about where she should go after leaving. But she should find those spiritual deities to settle the score first. She didn't know what had become of the Ling Feng continent as well. Aren't we going home? The little silver mink asked. Not yet. She hadn't even taken her revenge, and it wasn't safe to go home now. Oh. It seems like Shuer is planning to seek revenge directly. The silver mink pondered. With Shuer's current strength, it should be easy to deal with those spiritual deities. So he wasn't worried at all. The next morning, Ling Ruoxue moved her grandfather and the others out of the bracelet and asked them to leave the Phoenix clan's territory together with Hu Qing. She and Feng Zhan then helped the other members of the Phoenix clan move. At the entrance to Grief Remedy Forest. Grandpa Lang, why isn't Ruoxue here yet? Hu Qing couldn't help asking worriedly. It had been so long. What important matter did Ruoxue have? Don't be hasty. Wait a while more, Ling Qingtian said helplessly. Even though he, her grandfather, wasn't anxious, this kid was anxious for her. Hu Qing, it hasn't been long. Don't worry, Feng Moran comforted. Of course, he knew where Shuer had gone, but he couldn't tell Hu Qing. After waiting for another 2 hours, Ling Ruoxue's figure appeared on the sea. Ruoxue is here. Lin Liang was the first to spot her. They saw Ling Ruoxue carrying the little silver mink, and on her shoulders stood a small and exquisite fire phoenix. She was lying leisurely on the broad back of a black eagle. Little girl, you sure know how to enjoy life. Old man teased her as soon as Quill landed. Old man, you enjoy it more than I do. Ling Ruoxue glanced at the old man lightly. Let's go. Ling Qingtian interrupted them. After hearing what Ling Qingtian said, everyone took out their dragons together, jumped onto their respective dragons' back, and flew directly over Grief Remedy Forest. Flying away from this lousy place feels really good. Lin Liang sighed with emotion. When they first came, they wouldn't have dared to fly even if they had divine beasts. Yes, except for phoenixes and dragons, other divine beasts are nothing to those poisonous creatures. They are classic examples of bullying the weak and fearing the strong, Old Man echoed. Master, most of those poisonous creatures don't have any intelligence, so their behavior is just instinct. Dragons and phoenixes are among the top existences of the beast races, so they are afraid, Old Man's dragon explained. Old Man nodded and turned his head to ask, "Oh right, little girl, where are we going?" "Grandpa, what do you think?" Leng Ruoxue asked her grandfather directly. "Let's go to the nearest city and understand the situation of the entire continent first," Ling Qingtian said after some thought. "Okay, let's go." Leng Ruoxue ordered, and the 7 dragons and 1 black eagle brought them to the nearest city. "Wait," Ling Qingtian suddenly said. "What's the matter, Grandpa?" Leng Ruoxue was puzzled. Why did Grandpa suddenly ask us to stop? "Swear, there seems to be fighting over there." Leng Qingtian frowned and pricked up his ears to listen carefully. "Let's go take a look," Leng Ruoxue said, but she was thinking, why is Grandpa meddling in other people's affairs? This isn't his style. They only realized it was someone they knew when they rushed to the location of the fight. Chapter 249, and it's a bird that curses. 3. Old you, do you need help? Leng Qingtian, who was sitting on his dragon in the sky, shouted happily. It was great to see the old man still alive. In fact, the reason why he came over to take a look whenever he heard someone fighting was that he was afraid that there would be people he knew. Leng Ruoxue looked at the 2 sides of the battle and said in surprise, they actually gathered together. Fighting on the ground, Old Yu heard a familiar voice and searched quickly during a break in the fight, but he found no one. "Old Yu, I'm up here," Leng Qingtian reminded kindly. After hearing what his old friend said, Old Yu looked up at the sky, and what he saw almost made him vomit blood. Several giant dragons were circling silently above their heads, and each dragon had a person sitting on it. Most of them were people he knew, but they actually watched them fight the enemies without any intention of helping. "You old things, quickly come down and help," Old Yu roared angrily. At this moment, more and more people discovered them. "Lass, I thought I wouldn't be able to see you anymore," Old Zao, who was also fighting an enemy, said exaggeratedly with mucus and tears in his eyes. "Junior Aunt," Guiyong and Guochang shouted in surprise. Compared to their excitement, the other party was not so happy. I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. Otherwise, our Sir spiritual deity won't let you go," a spiritual supremacy threatened, but he was terrified in his heart. How can there be so many dragons? What if we insist? Leng Ruoxue asked coldly. They seem to have been threatened. Then you're dead meat, another spiritual supremacy said boldly. Grandpa, who are these 2 people? Do you know them? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. It seemed like there were many unknown spiritual supremacies. Leng Qingtian curled his lips and said lightly, how could Grandpa know some nobodies? Damn it, who are you? How dare you humiliate us like this? The leader of the group, a spiritual supremacy, questioned furiously. Hee, old Leng, there's actually someone who doesn't recognize you. Lin Liang smiled as he looked at the 2 spiritual supremacies below with contempt. I'm not a spiritual deity. How can I be remembered? Leng Qingtian said with a smirk. Ink thunder, land. Leng Qingtian ordered his beast. After Ink Thunder landed on the ground, the other beasts also received instructions from their masters to land and surround the 2 fighting parties. Continue fighting. Don't stop. Go on. We're here to watch the battle, Old Man said with a smile, unable to hide his amusement. The 2 spiritual supremacies were speechless with anger. How could they fight with these dragons eyeing them? Junior Aunt. It's good that you're okay. Guiyong and Guochang went directly to Leng Ruoxue's side and began chatting with her. We're all right. But why are you together? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. She really didn't expect to meet them. What a coincidence. We were all being chased, and we accidentally encountered each other, so we stayed together, Guiyong explained. He had already gotten to know old Yu and his disciple at the general's mansion. After the incident with Leng Ruoxue and the others, he quietly returned to the Artificer Association with Guo Chang, his brother. After that, the Artificer Association was occupied by those spiritual deities. The three of them, the master and two disciples, were unwilling to submit to the spiritual deities, so they left the Artificer Association and were chased until they met old Yu. Lass, it's so nice to see you all, old Zhao came over and said warmly. Leng Ruoxue and old Zhao's group of three were chatting, while Ling Qingtian, Lin Liang, and old Yu were catching up. The two spiritual supremacies and their subordinates, however, were left alone. Even so, they didn't dare to move at all, much less launch a sneak attack. This was because all the beasts were staring at them menacingly. These behemoths would definitely tear them into pieces if they dared to move. Deal with these people, the bored old man suddenly said. The beasts were elated when they heard this. Among these people were two spiritual supremacies and many spiritual sovereigns. It would be greatly beneficial for them if they could absorb their spiritual power. Upon receiving their master's order, the beasts stopped being polite and slowly walked toward their food. These people were forced to stick closer and closer to each other as the circle became smaller and smaller. After getting rid of the enemies and obtaining their spiritual power, the dragons were extremely satisfied. They wiped their mouths with their large claws and quietly found a place to lie down and digest the spiritual power. Leng Ruoxue was flabbergasted as she looked at the dragon's refining spiritual power. Old man really isn't wasteful at all. Junior aunt, where did you get these dragons? They're really too awesome, Guiyong said with incomparable envy. Alas! How good would it be if he could also have a dragon? Lass! Did you rob Dragon Island? Old Zhao was curious as well. That was possible. After all, it was extremely difficult to find traces of dragons on the Ling Feng continent. Why would this young lady do such a thing? Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes at old Zhao. Junior aunt, I think it's very possible too. Guiyong echoed with a face of realization. He had lived in the general's mansion for a long time, so he more or less knew a little about Leng Ruoxue. I exchanged pills with the Dragon Emperor for these dragons. A few drops of cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxue's forehead. Am I someone who likes to rob others in the eyes of this master and his disciples? Then did you exchange something with the Phoenix King for the bird on your shoulder? Old Zhao guessed. It was a fire phoenix. An existence as noble as dragons. Chapter 250, and it's a bird that curses. 4. Master, is there anything special about this bird? Guiyong asked, a little puzzled. He wasn't very knowledgeable about spirit beasts. In his opinion, this bird was only a bird that was slightly better looking than ordinary birds. You're the bird. Your whole family are birds, the transformed Feng Zhan roared. He hated being compared to birds the most. And it's a bird that curses. Guiyong muttered to himself. Ha! Leng Ruoxue couldn't resist laughing happily. Guiyong is really too funny. Why didn't I notice it before? Master! Feng Zhan looked at Leng Ruoxue aggrievedly, his dark red phoenix eyes brimming with tears. He doesn't know you. Leng Ruoxue comforted. If Feng Zhan hadn't changed his appearance, Guiyong might not be so blind. Disciple. That's a fire phoenix. Old Zhao wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and explained helplessly. His two disciples were only good at refining artifacts, but they weren't as good when it came to other things. Oh, sorry. I've never seen a phoenix before. Guiyong scratched his head, his face red with embarrassment. But you are really much better looking than ordinary birds, Guiyong added. After hearing what Guiyong said, Feng Zhan was completely enraged. Damn it! I told you I'm not a bird. How dare you compare me to a bird? With this thought, Feng Zhan directly flew to Guiyong and pecked his head with his sharp little mouth. Ah! It hurts. Junior Ant, your bird has gone crazy. Guiyong covered his head as he dodged around while shouting non-stop. Suddenly, everyone saw a little phoenix covered in flames and glowing colorfully chasing a middle-aged man. Ha! Ha! Seeing this scene, everyone laughed happily. Let him go. Leng Ruoxua looked at Guiyong, who was running around everywhere, and pleaded on his behalf very kindly. Alas, he should know now what the saying "a loose tongue causes trouble" meant. Junior Ant, it's so fierce. Guiyong complained with tears in his eyes and a wronged expression on his face as he looked at the arrogant little fire phoenix with some fear. It's your fault for not knowing how to speak. Leng Ruoxua glanced at Guiyong, but she didn't pity him at all. Junior Ant, you're so biased. Guiyong complained. Ha, alright. Stop messing around. Let's talk about your future plans. Leng Qingtian stepped forward to smooth things over. But the smile on his lips showed his good mood. Old Leng, what are your plans? Old Yu asked directly. We have to understand the situation of the entire continent before we can make plans, Leng Qingtian said honestly. They had been staying in the phoenix nest for a while, so they weren't aware of the current situation on the continent. The continent is in a mess now. Basically, all the forces have been occupied by a few spiritual deities. Moreover, many families have submitted to them, and even some of the major associations have surrendered, Old Zhao explained. Initially, all the professional associations were independent and had extraordinary statuses. But there were still black sheep. Alas! Are all the spiritual deities together? Leng Ruoxua asked. No, they're all scattered. Each spiritual deity occupies an area of the continent, Old Zhao explained. Hey, do you really have to stand here and chat? My disciple is still injured, Old Yu couldn't help interrupting. Dongfang Yun is injured. Where is he? Leng Ruoxua asked in bewilderment. She didn't seem to have seen any trace of Dongfang Yun. We hid him in a relatively safe place. Old Yu sighed, his face full of concern. The four of them had run here to lure the pursuers away, so it could be said that they had been determined to die. Then let's go to Dongfang Yun and then find a place to plan in detail, Leng Ruoxua said after some thought. Good. Let's go quickly. Old Yu urged. He was very worried about his disciples' injuries. After Old Yu and the other three got on Leng Qingshan's dragon, everyone flew toward Dongfang Yun's hiding place. This dragon is really good. It flies fast and steady. Old Zhao couldn't stop drooling with envy along the way. It's all right. Leng Qingtian said calmly, but he was overjoyed. Hee, this is a dragon. How could it not be good? Old Zhao turned around and asked curiously, Lass, why didn't you get a dragon to play with? I have Quill and a fire phoenix, Leng Ruoxua's pink lips parted slightly to say indifferently. In fact, the main reason was that she thought dragons were too ugly. Moreover, dragon scales were hard, so how could it be as comfortable as sitting on Quill's feathers? As for the fire phoenix, he was too conspicuous, so he was really not suitable to be a mount. That's true. Old Zhao nodded in agreement. Alas, the spirit beasts this lass possesses are really too enviable. After flying for about 15 minutes, they arrived at a slightly shabby commoner house. This is the place. Old Yu pointed at the residence. Leng Qingtian turned his head and said to Leng Ruoxua, Shuer, Old Yu and I will go in. You all wait here. Okay. Grandpa, take this. Perhaps Dongfang Yun will need it. Leng Ruoxua took out a bottle of pills from her bracelet and handed it to Leng Qingtian. Shuer, you are so thoughtful, Leng Qingtian praised. He would have forgotten about this if his granddaughter hadn't mentioned it. Leng Qingtian and Old Yu entered the residence to fetch Dongfang Yun while Leng Ruoxua and the others waited outside. Soon, the fluctuations of advancement emerged from inside. Did someone advance? Lin Liang asked curiously. There were no heaven and earth laws descending, so it should only be an advancement of a small stage. Most likely, Old Man said knowingly. The moment Old Man finished speaking, Ling Qingtian and the other two walked out of the house. It should have been Dongfang Yun's advancement, Ling Ruoxue said as she looked at Dongfang Yun, who had recovered from his injuries and was glowing with light. After his advancement, his strength also reached peak spiritual sovereign. Chapter 251, Cleansing Operation, 1, Ruoxue, long time no see, Dongfang Yun said directly to Ling Ruoxue after he appeared in front of everyone. Ling Ruoxue just smiled and didn't answer. But she couldn't help grumbling in her heart, it hasn't been that long, alright. Lass. Thank you for the pill. Old Yu said gratefully. He originally thought that his disciple's strength would regress even if his injuries were all healed. But he didn't expect his strength to rise instead, making him super happy. Grandpa Yu is Grandpa's friend, so you don't have to be so polite, Ling Ruoxue said politely. Let's leave this place quickly and find a place to discuss our next step, Lin Liang urged. Okay, come up quickly. Ling Qingtian jumped onto Ink Thunder's back and then beckoned Old Yu and his disciple. Let's go. Ling Qingtian ordered after Old Yu and Dongfang Yun sat down. Grandpa, let's go to the illusionary forest. Ling Ruoxue suggested after flying for a while. It was the old home of most of her beasts, and the illusionary forest was relatively safe. Okay, let's go. Ling Qingtian nodded slightly. That place was indeed a good choice. After making the decision, they flew toward the illusionary forest. Quill, take us to your residence. Ling Ruoxue said to Quill after entering the forest. Yes, master. Quill led the way with several dragons following behind him. 10 minutes later, Quill descended in front of a tree that would take 10 people to wrap their arms around. Quill transformed into a little bird and perched on Ling Ruoxue's shoulder. Grandpa, we're here. Let's go in. Ling Ruoxue walked in first when she saw that everyone was here. Quill, your home isn't bad. Ling Qingtian exclaimed after entering. There were mountains and rivers, and the environment was quiet and beautiful. It was really a good place. Hee hee, it's all right. Quill scratched his little head with his wing shyly. Everyone, let's stay here for the time being. Ling Ruoxue walked in front of everyone with familiarity. She then took out a lot of food from her ring and placed them on a stone table. Let's eat something first. Lass, you guys are too extravagant. How can you eat so well? Old Zao swallowed his saliva greedily. They had also been on the run, but why were their circumstances so different? These people ate delicious and rare fresh beast meat, while they could only eat dry food. Boo-hoo. Why? Yes, it's truly luxurious. I say, Old Lang. Why are you eating better than when you were in the general's mansion? Old Yu asked in puzzlement, his face full of question marks. Ling Qingtian stammered. He really didn't know what to say. Should he tell them that they were leading better lives than an emperor? That would be a huge blow to them. He wouldn't do such a thing. Abusing our stomachs is the last thing we should do on the run. Old Man said. Yes, that's right, Ling Qingtian and the others nodded in agreement. Lass, I'm homeless, so I'll follow you from now on, Old Zao said pitifully with a bitter face. Junior Aunt, me too. Guiyong and Guochang said in unison, and their faces clearly said, Junior Aunt, you can't leave us alone. Ling Ruoxue's forehead was full of black lines. Are these fellows planning to rely on me? But she knew very well that these people didn't have any ill intentions toward her. Moreover, they might even be her helpers in the future. It's not impossible to follow me, but I want absolute loyalty, and betrayal is forbidden, Ling Ruoxue said after some thought. Junior Aunt, we are more loyal than little dogs. Guiyong and Guocheng quickly tried to suck up to her, their faces full of fawning expressions. Their master said before that they would definitely have a future following Leng Ruoxue, so they would spare no effort to stay by her side. Of course, this was also their master's order. Lass, I'm yours from now on. I will never head west if you ask me to go east. I'll do whatever you ask me to, and I promise I'll listen to you, old Zhao promised with his hand raised. You damn old man, scram. I'm Schwer's person. The little silver mink, who had been lying in Leng Ruoxue's arms, was instantly enraged. Damn old man, how dare you snatch Schwer away from me? Humph. I absolutely won't forgive you. Ah. All of us are, alright. Old Zhao hurriedly coaxed after seeing the little mink's sharp little claws. No, Schwer is mine, the little silver mink said domineeringly. Yes, okay. The lass is yours, and I'm yours. That should do, right? Old Zhao said reluctantly. Boo-hoo. A mink is actually bullying me. I don't want you, the little silver mink roared angrily, so angry that the fur on his body was about to stand on end. What I mean is that the lass is yours, and I'm hers, which is equivalent to being yours, old Zhao explained patiently. Boo-hoo. Why is this mink so difficult to deal with? He's so not adorable. Shut up, both of you. No one is allowed to speak. Leng Ruoxue couldn't bear it anymore. A few drops of cold sweat dripped down her forehead unconsciously. What is this? The human and mink immediately shut their mouths obediently. They didn't dare to speak anymore, but they stole glances at her with pitiful little eyes from time to time. Hee, Schwer, they're pretty obedient. Leng Qingtian said with a smile, his heart blooming with joy. Idiot. Old Yu rolled his eyes at old Zhao, despising him in his heart. Even if he wants to stay, he doesn't have to do that. We don't even need to say anything and can just express it with our actions. Stop standing there. Come here to prepare the food instead. Otherwise, we won't have anything to eat later, said Lin Liang, who was cleaning up the ingredients with Dongfang Yun. Sigh, the group is getting livelier by the day. Chapter 252, Cleansing Operation, 2.0, coming. Leng Qingtian and the others hurriedly ran over to help when they heard that there might not be any food later. Leng Ruoxue picked up a piece of cleaned meat and started grilling it. It smells so good. Old Zhao sniffed. The meat the last grills smells so good. Of course. Old man rolled his eyes at him disdainfully. You. Humph. I won't bicker with you, old Zhao said magnanimously and turned to focus on gathering the ingredients. Leng Ruoxue pondered as she watched the two old men bicker. They're about the same age, so they should know each other, right? But their relationship seems a little strange. At least, this was what she felt. The meal quickly ended amid commotion. After eating and drinking to their heart's content, everyone sat together and began discussing. Grandpa, I'm going out for a while. Leng Ruoxue suddenly said. She needed to confirm the exact location of the spiritual deities before she could arrange what to do next. I'll go with you. Dongfang Yun said. Okay. Then Leng Ruoxue and Dongfang Yun each took an appearance-changing pill and left the illusionary forest. On the streets of Phoenix City, an ordinary-looking man and woman in their early 20s appeared. The woman was carrying a silver mink in her arms, and on each side of her shoulder stood a small bird, one red and the other black. Although they looked ordinary, their inherent noble temperament made them impossible to ignore. They walked into a restaurant, found a random spot in the dining room on the first floor, and sat down. Hello, what would you like to eat? A waiter asked respectfully after coming to their table. Anything will do, Leng Ruoxue replied lightly. Please wait a moment. The waiter bowed and left. Schwer, there should also be a spiritual deity in Phoenix City, Dongfang Yun whispered. These 2 days, they had run to several places and had already found out the exact locations of those spiritual deities. This should be the last place they checked. Yes, Leng Ruoxue answered softly. At this moment, the waiter brought the food over. Has anything new happened in Phoenix City recently? Leng Ruoxue asked the waiter. He, of course. Recently, our city lord is preparing to choose a wife and some concubines, so it's very lively, the waiter said hurriedly while looking at Leng Ruoxue. Oh. Those people actually have the mood to marry and take concubines. Are they planning to stay here for a long time? Is there anything else? Dong Fang Yun stuffed an amethyst coin into the waiter's hand. I also heard that Leng Ruoxue and the others, whom several city lords have offered a joint bounty on, have appeared. The city lords are discussing a strategy, the waiter whispered with a mysterious expression. Then he carefully looked around to avoid being discovered. Really? Leng Ruoxue pretended to be surprised, her face full of curiosity. Of course it's true. Everyone is spreading it. But it's such a pity for such a great beauty, the waiter said regretfully. Dong Fang Yun glanced at Leng Ruoxue, who was sitting opposite him, and couldn't help asking, why is it a pity? Isn't it a pity that such a great beauty is about to perish? But maybe the city lord will be protective of the fairer sex and take her in as a concubine, the waiter said without even noticing that Leng Ruoxue's face was turning uglier and uglier. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue stood up, displeased. Did I say something wrong? The waiter murmured to himself as he watched the two leave. Swear, that waiter didn't do it on purpose, Dong Fang Yun consoled as they walked side by side on the streets of Phoenix City. I know. I won't take the matter to heart with a waiter, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Let's go back, lest Grandpa and the others become anxious from waiting, Leng Ruoxue continued. Dong Fang Yun nodded. They found a remote corner and flew out of Phoenix City. Grandpa, we're back. Leng Ruoxue shouted as soon as they returned to Quill's residence. Lass, you're finally back. We've been waiting anxiously, old Zhao rushed to say. We went to several places, so we took some time, Leng Ruoxue explained and found a random place to sit down. Swear, how was it? Leng Qingtian asked directly. His granddaughter went out for 2 days, so she should have gained something, right? Grandpa, we went to 6 places. The 6 spiritual diters are each occupying a city as their main city, and they also call themselves city lords. Leng Ruoxue gave a simple explanation of the situation. Grandpa Leng, those spiritual deities don't care about us at all. They only know to eat, drink, and play around every day. Their lives are extremely luxurious and decadent. Many people complain, but they can only swallow their anger, Dong Fang Yun added. The current Lingfeng continent was far more chaotic than they had imagined. Grandpa, it seems that we'll have to split up into 6 groups to destroy them at the same time. Moreover, we can't let them run away, lest they contact the upper realm. Leng Ruoxue revealed her plan. Yes. It wouldn't only be a disaster for us but also for the entire Lingfeng continent if they contact the upper realm. Leng Qingtian nodded in agreement. Then let's discuss a detailed plan. Lin Liang said. After discussing for several hours, planning for countless unexpected events that might occur, and coming up with countermeasures to deal with them, Leng Ruoxue and the others split up. Leng Ruoxue led Guiyong, Guochang, and Dong Fang Yun straight to Phoenix City. Outside the gates of Phoenix City. Junior Aunt, shall we go directly to the city lord's mansion? Guiyong asked curiously. No, go and destroy those small fries. I'll go to the city lord's mansion by myself, Leng Ruoxue said and released a few fire phoenixes. Big sister, please go with them. Leng Ruoxue said to the transformed Feng Linger. Chapter 253, Cleansing Operation, 3, okay. Don't worry, little sister Ruoxue. I won't let those fence-sitters go, Feng Linger said angrily. The Phoenix clan hated those rotten people that swayed left and right with the wind to their core. Thank you, big sister. Leng Ruoxue motioned for Quill to fly toward the city lord's mansion. What are you waiting for? Let's go. Feng Linger urged impatiently after Leng Ruoxue left. She was impatient and hated being so slow. Yes, Guiyong quickly responded, but he couldn't help muttering in his heart, Junior Ant has so many beasts. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue had already arrived above the city lord's mansion. This spiritual deity had occupied the imperial palace as his residence. Moreover, he was holding a banquet. In the grand hall of the palace, extravagant and absurd scenes were playing out. The guests were all men, and each of them was holding a woman in their arms. These women were dressed very revealingly, almost naked. Leng Ruoxue looked down from the sky, furious. Who do these damn beasts think they are? How dare they toy with women like this? But she was even angrier with the weakness of these women, who were willing to become playthings for those stinky men. Feng Zhan. Leng Ruoxue called out softly. Master, leave these people to me. Feng Zhan's dark red phoenix eyes were terrifyingly cold and filled with killing intent. Anyone who roused his master's displeasure deserved to die. Feng Zhan flew around in the air, found a good spot, and then gently spit out a flame the size of a baby's fist. Ah! There's a fire. Someone, come and put out the fire. Chaos immediately broke out below. The guests attending the banquet were at a loss for what to do. They couldn't run, nor did they dare to run. They could only stay stiff on the spot because the city lord hadn't moved. Everyone, there's no need to be afraid. It's just a small accident. You don't have to worry about it. The spiritual deity, who was sitting on the dragon throne, smiled as he tried to calm them down. But he despised these people in his heart. Humph. What can they do with such little guts? This isn't an accident. A clear and pleasant voice spread into the hall. Immediately after, a beautiful young girl of empire-toppling beauty walked in leisurely, surrounded by several small and cute beasts. All the guests were stunned. Leng Ruoxue. Ha! The spiritual deity suddenly laughed happily. This was great. They were sending people everywhere to look for her, but Leng Ruoxue unexpectedly came knocking on their door. She's Leng Ruoxue, someone exclaimed in amazement among the guests. Are you that happy to see me? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows slightly. Ha! Of course I'm happy. If I can capture you and offer you to young master, I will have done a meritorious deed, the spiritual deity said proudly, his expression becoming more excited. Even though he was enjoying life on the Lingfeng continent, he didn't want to stay here forever. He had to go back sooner or later. So if he could please the young master, he would be able to soar in the future. Young master. How does your young master know me? Has he seen me before? Leng Ruoxue probed after hearing that something was amiss. Of course. It's your honor that our young master is interested in you. If you know what's good for you, just surrender quietly. I promise I won't let you suffer any physical pain. Or else, don't blame me for being cruel and merciless, the spiritual deity threatened with both soft and hard methods. Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes speechlessly. Is this considered as someone taking a fancy to me again? Men from the Su family really like to cause trouble for me. I wonder which one of us is crueler. I'm really curious. Leng Ruoxue smiled lightly, but killing intent emerged in her cold, beautiful eyes. Humph. Not only this spiritual deity, but no one can escape, including the minions helping this evildoer. Ha, you're just a spiritual supremacy. How dare you challenge a spiritual deity? You're really gutsy. The spiritual deity laughed even more joyfully, as though he had just heard a hilarious joke. You'll know when you try, Leng Ruoxue said calmly. She didn't hide her strength because she wasn't afraid that he would know. Come out. Leng Ruoxue said softly to the void. As soon as she finished speaking, countless silver wolves instantly appeared in the main hall. All the guests present had their mouths agape in disbelief as they looked at the tall and mighty silver wolves. Some of the more timid ones directly collapsed onto the ground in fright, and liquid even flowed out from under their butts. Leng Ruoxiu glanced at the guests present and said to the silver wolves, "I'll leave these people to you." "No. You can't do this." Some crazy guests shouted loudly, but most people were scared silly by Leng Ruoxiu's words. "Do it," Leng Ruoxiu ordered coldly. "These people deserve to die." "Yes, master." After receiving Leng Ruoxiu's order, the silver wolves fully utilized their advantage in group combat. All of them swarmed forward and tore everyone present into pieces within a few minutes. "You," the spiritual deity glared at Leng Ruoxiu, so angry that he couldn't speak. These damn silver wolves were too fast. Those people had already disappeared before he could unleash his might. "Silver Wings, go out and look for any fish that slipped through the net," Leng Ruoxiu ordered. "Yes, master." Silver Wings received his master's order and left with the silver wolves. "You're the only one left now," Leng Ruoxiu reminded with a smile. "Master, leave this fellow to me," Feng Zhan said eagerly. He kept flapping his small wings and acted cute in front of Leng Ruoxiu. "Master, I haven't exercised in a long time as well," Quill said aggrievedly while looking directly at Leng Ruoxiu. "Boo-hoo. I want to fight too." "Beloved master, your darling's nails have grown long." The little purple fox acted coquettishly and rubbed against Leng Ruoxiu's calf. What he implied was that they should be ground. "I'll help you cut them when I have time," Leng Ruoxiu said helplessly with a few black lines on her forehead. "It's just a fight." "What kind of reasons are these?" Chapter 254, Cleansing Operation, 4, Master. Charm called out softly but didn't say anything. He just stared at Leng Ruoxiu with his beautiful purple eyes. "You don't have to compete anymore. Leave this fellow for me to practice on," Leng Ruoxiu said resolutely, but her face was full of helplessness. Alas! These beasts were all her favorite. She couldn't bear to scold or beat them, so she could only be eaten alive by them. "Boo-hoo. Look at me. I'm a master without much dignity." But she couldn't be blamed for this. She could only blame her beasts for being too cute. "Master, you can do it. Teach this thing a good lesson." Dazzle yelled out. "You are the things." "Damn it," the spiritual deity roared furiously. "Oh, so you're nothing." No wonder, all the beasts seemed to have realized something important. "Ha!" Leng Ruoxiu couldn't resist laughing. "Must my beasts be so cute?" "Leng Ruoxiu, I won't let you go," the spiritual deity said angrily. He originally wanted to use her to please the young master, but now he only wanted to kill this damn woman. Leng Ruoxiu nodded understandingly and said very seriously, "I won't let you go either." "Aha!" The spiritual deity took out a long saber and slashed at Leng Ruoxiu without hesitation. "How ungentlemanly!" Leng Ruoxiu mocked calmly. She dodged the saber's attack agilely and released Feather of the Fire Phoenix at the same time. "Leng Ruoxiu, is that your spiritual power?" the spiritual deity said disdainfully when he saw the feather that was not even as thick as his finger. "This is enough to deal with you," Leng Ruoxiu said lightly, obviously looking down on him. "You. I will make you regret it." The spiritual deity dodged the feather's attack and slashed with his saber again. The saber beam contained countless cold and sinister killing intents, and the water attribute's spiritual power contained in it was so intense that it almost froze into ice. But in the blink of an eye, he was stunned. How is this possible? That little feather actually multiplied? There was only one feather, but there were countless feathers now that he attacked. Suddenly, the entire hall was full of small, fiery red, and dazzling feathers. The feathers gathered slowly together to form a sphere. And the sphere slowly floated forward, as though it was taking a stroll. Float, float. After floating to the spiritual deity's side, it surrounded him. At the same time, the saber beam from the spiritual deity reached Leng Ruoxiu. Leng Ruoxue gently raised her hand, and a stream of fiery red spiritual power built a wall for her, blocking the saber beam outside. Aha! Suddenly, there was a miserable scream in the main hall. Surrounded by feathers, the spiritual deity rolled on the ground. Before long, his voice became weaker and weaker until there was no more sound. Leng Ruoxue glanced at the spiritual deity, who had been burned to ashes. After confirming that this fellow was dead, she said to her beast, "Let's go." After sending all the silver wolves into her space, Leng Ruoxue left the palace with a group of beasts. Not far from the palace, Leng Ruoxue ran into Dongfang Yun and the others, who came looking for her. Junior aunt, why is the palace on fire?" Guiyong couldn't help asking curiously when he saw the flames shooting into the sky. I don't think there's anyone left to put out the fire in the palace. Leng Ruoxue explained after some thought. Feng Zhan started the fire, but all the servants in the palace were scared away after they entered, so no one put out the fire. Oh. Junior aunt, where are we going now? Let's go back to the general's mansion to take a look. Leng Ruoxue said. She had left for so long, but she didn't know what her home had become due to those people. Okay. After deciding their destination, Leng Ruoxue and the others walked toward the general's mansion. Upon reaching the general's mansion, Leng Ruoxue pushed open the gates and walked in. At this time, apart from the house still being intact, the other decorations, furnishings, and so on were all lost and destroyed. It was a tragic sight. Leng Ruoxue let the beasts out again and asked them to help clean up. After cleaning for 2 days, Leng Ruoxue refined the original decorations and furnishings according to her memory, and the entire general's mansion returned to its original appearance. Grandpa should be happy to see this, right? I wonder how they're doing. Leng Ruoxue said to her brother beside her while standing in the garden of the general's mansion. She had secretly let her brother and the others out when no one was around. They should be back in 2 days, Leng Ruhan guessed. Shuer had already sent Quill to inform them, so some people should be on their way back. Big brother, when do you intend to advance to spiritual supremacy? Leng Ruoxue suddenly asked curiously. Both Big Brother Feng and Hu Qing were already spiritual supremacies. I'm not in a hurry. I can advance with Dongfang Yun. Leng Ruhan smiled lightly. His advancement was just a matter of time with the heavenly essence pill, so he was not in a hurry at all. Shuer, Ruhan, Grandpa is back. Suddenly, a loud roar sounded in the sky. Leng Ruoxue and Leng Ruhan looked up at the same time and saw a mighty black dragon appearing above their heads. It was circling around as though it was looking for a suitable landing spot. Ink Thunder landed lightly after finding a spot. Leng Qingtian jumped off the dragon's back together with Old Yu. Grandpa, you're finally back. Leng Ruoxue threw herself into Leng Qingshan's arms. Your granddaughter is so caring. That stinky brat never lets me hug him, Old Yu said with envy. Of course. Leng Qingtian rolled his eyes at his friend proudly. Grandpa, do you have something against me? Leng Ruhan complained, his face full of grievances. Chapter 255, Which one did you abduct? 1. No. You are also my good grandson. Leng Qingtian felt a headache coming on. Heavens! Ruhan actually learned to act coquettishly. Such a stunningly beautiful man acting coquettishly and cute is asking for my life. I say, Old Leng, looks like you are definitely going to be eaten alive by your grandchildren. Old Yu laughed loudly. It's none of your business. I'm happy. Leng Qingtian said nonchalantly with a glare. I can't be bothered with you. Where is my disciple? Old Yes' eyes kept looking around for his precious disciple. He's in seclusion, Leng Ruoxue explained kindly. Seclusion? Why seclusion at this time? Old Yu was puzzled. Isn't the timing just right now that things are almost settled? Leng Ruoxue said as a matter of fact. Oh, that's true. Old Yu thought about it. What this girl said made a lot of sense, so he didn't continue worrying that his disciple hadn't come out to welcome him. Grandpa Yu, did everything go smoothly on your side? Leng Ruoxue asked with concern. Among the teams, she was the closest to her goal, so she was also the first to complete the task. Very smooth, Ling Qingtian said happily. It was child's play to deal with a spiritual deity with two divine beasts in his hands. Lass, look, I don't have a divine beast yet. Can you give me one of those masterless dragons in your hand? From now on, we master and disciple will be yours, Old Yu thickened his face to ask. He had never done such a thing in all his life, so his face was a little hot. Leng Ruoxue glanced at her grandfather. Seeing him nod slightly, she said directly, okay, which one does Grandpa Yu fancy? Before the other 5 teams set off, she had lent them the 10 masterless dragons in case of emergencies. Therefore, she wasn't surprised that Grandpa Yu would thicken his skin to ask her for one. She agreed readily. After all, he had been a good friend of her grandfather for many years. Most importantly, Leng Ruoxue trusted her grandfather's judgment in judging people. Old Yu was stunned, and then he said very happily, I want the black one. This girl is really straightforward. I didn't expect it at all. Leng Qingtian released the 2 dragons from his pet ring. They transformed immediately and bowed to Leng Ruoxue. Master. Black Dragon, Grandpa Yu wants to take you in as a contract beast, Leng Ruoxue said while looking at the mini dragon. The black mini dragon glanced at the short, chubby old man and nodded. I am willing. Contract. Leng Ruoxue urged. She knew that these few level 9 dragons had been waiting to advance. Yes. The mini dragon nodded and took the initiative to enter a soul contract. After the contract was formally established, Old Yu happily hugged the black mini dragon. Boo-hoo. I finally have a divine beast. Wait, not yet. Lass, Old Yu was embarrassed and stammered. Take it. Leng Ruoxue directly handed him a green pill, but she couldn't help laughing in her heart. This old man also has moments when he's embarrassed. Come on. Let's go and advance, Old Yu said impatiently while holding the pill in his hand. Master, come onto my back. The mini black dragon instantly enlarged and flew into the air. Ha! This day has finally arrived, but it seems like Master is even more anxious than me. Master, the remaining blue dragon looked at Leng Ruoxue with watery eyes and a sad face. No rush. You're only level 8, Leng Ruoxue comforted it and sent it into her space. Schwer, if Grandpa is right, old Zao won't let those dragons go either, Ling Qingtian said with a smug smile. What are your intentions, Grandpa? Leng Ruoxue asked with a nod. That old man from the Artificer Association is like old Yu, a loner. Of course, it would be best if we can use him, Ling Qingtian said after some thought. His granddaughter needed help, so from now on, they had to pay attention to the available people. Obviously, old Yu and old Zao were very suitable candidates. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. In fact, she also had this thought. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been so generous. Grandpa, the others haven't returned yet. Nothing happened, right? Leng Ruoxue asked worriedly. No need to worry, Ling Qingtian comforted. All of them were smart, so there was no need to worry. Old Zao, am back. Leng Ruoxue and the others heard the shout and looked up at the same time to see 3 dragons flying in the sky. Lin Liang, who had returned with old Zao, was sitting on a dragon's back with a gloomy face. What happened, Grandpa Lin? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help asking curiously after Lin Liang's dragon descended. Ask him. Lin Liang snorted and turned his face away to avoid looking at the smug old man. Lass, I was just being kind and got him to let the 2 dragons out of the pet ring. As an artificer, I know very well how uncomfortable it is to be stored in a pet ring. That's why he threw a tantrum at me, old Zao explained with a perfectly guileless look. Humph. It's obviously because you want to be in the limelight. Why are you still finding excuses? Lin Liang roared with a black face. How am I? I just want to bond with them, old Zao said without any shame. Which one did you abduct? Leng Ruoshua realized what was going on and rolled her eyes at old Zao. Hee, lass. You're the best. Old Zao said happily, almost dancing with joy. I have my eyes on that blue one. Lass, give it to me. Old Zao continued without any embarrassment on his face. Then contract with it. Leng Ruoshua nodded helplessly. This was within her expectations, so she went with the flow. Chapter 256, Which one did you abduct? 2. Lass, thanks. I'll definitely do anything for you in the future, old Zao said obsequiously and then patted the blue dragon on the head. Little Blue, let's contract quickly. The lass agreed. The blue dragon glanced at Leng Ruoshua, nodded, and initiated the contract. Let's see who still dares to bully me in the future, old Zao said cockily after completing the contract. He was basking in reflected glory, which was extremely infuriating. Take it and advance. Leng Ruoshua handed old Zao a green spirit pill helplessly. Little Blue, let's go. Hee, you're going to become a divine beast, old Zao said impatiently. He hopped onto the blue dragon's back and flew out of the general's mansion to find a place to advance. Grandpa Lin, did everything go smoothly? Leng Ruoshua asked with concern after seeing Lin Liang's still gloomy face. Very smooth. Although that old man seems a little unreliable, he's very straightforward and efficient when it comes to official business, Lin Liang explained. This was also one of the main reasons why he was willing to indulge old Zao so much. Leng Ruoshua nodded slightly. Now, the three teams led by Old Man, Patriarch Feng, and the First Elder have yet to return. They're quite far away. They should be back by tomorrow or the day after tomorrow at the latest, Lin Liang said. They had agreed to meet in the illusionary forest after resolving the matter. But they didn't expect this girl to return to the general's mansion first. Grandpa Lin, go back to your rooms to rest first. Leng Ruoshua suggested. She had already tidied up the general's mansion and prepared everyone's room. Shuer, send us into the space. Leng Qingtian said. He was used to sleeping in the space, so it would be uncomfortable if he went back to his room to sleep. Okay. Leng Ruoshua sent the two of them and the dragons into the bracelet with a thought. Big brother, shall we sit here for a while? Leng Ruoshua asked when she saw only the siblings remained in the garden. Shuer, let's have hot pot tonight. Leng Ruhan couldn't help saying after they sat down. During this period of time, they had been staying in the space and hadn't had hot pot for a long time. Okay, I'll listen to Big Brother. I'll arrange for Feng De and the others to prepare. Leng Ruoshua stood up and went directly to find Feng De. After instructing him, she returned to the garden to accompany her brother. Not long later, Old Yu and Old Zao returned to the general's mansion. At night, everyone and the beasts gathered together and began to enjoy hot pot. The next day, the other three teams returned to the general's mansion one after another. Everyone gathered again and had a lively time to celebrate the successful completion of the matter. Peace finally returned to the Ling Feng continent. After several days of settlement, the influence that the spiritual deities brought to the Ling Feng continent gradually faded, and the people slowly forgot many people and matters that happened. But Leng Ruoshua and the others had long become deeply ingrained in the hearts of people, and they had even become a legend on the entire Ling Feng continent, forever engraved in people's hearts. Half a year later, in the garden of General Leng's mansion. Miss, someone from the Mercenary Union requests an audience. Lu Tao stood in front of Leng Ruoshua, her face full of adoration. Didn't I say that I won't see anyone? Leng Ruoshua, who was lying on a recliner with her eyes closed and the little mink in her arms to bask in the sun, frowned slightly. During this half a year, the people of the Ling Feng continent had resumed their normal lives and didn't have to be afraid every day. The major associations had also been rebuilt. But the number of people who came to the general's mansion to visit her suddenly increased, making her very annoyed. "Miss, young Master Zhu Ri came with the people from the mercenary union," Lu Tao explained. "Let Zhu Ri in, no one else," Len Ruoxua ordered directly without giving any face. "Yes, Mississippi." Lu Tao turned and left. Soon after, Lu Tao led Zhu Ri into the garden. "Ha, Ruoxua, I told them long ago that you wouldn't see them, but they just didn't give up and insisted on coming. Don't blame me." Zhu Ri quickly explained after seeing Len Ruoxua. He didn't want this girl to misunderstand. "I understand. I just don't know why I need to see them," Len Ruoxua said indifferently. Although the Blazing Flame mercenary group was under the jurisdiction of the mercenary union in theory, she believed that the mercenary union wouldn't dare to manage her, so those people were definitely not here for any good reason. "The Alchemist Association and the Beast Trainer Association have looked for you frequently, right?" Zhu Ri asked with a face full of understanding. "Oh, Big Brother Zhu, you broke through," Len Ruoxua suddenly said. During the time she had not seen him, Zhu Ri had become an intermediate spiritual sovereign. "My cultivation speed is too embarrassing compared to you monsters. Moreover, it was because of the spirit fruit you gave me," Zhu Ri said helplessly. He had been at peak spiritual monarch for a long time and had yet to break through. If not for the fruit Ruoxua gave him, he really didn't know when he would become a spiritual sovereign. "Big Brother Zhu, if your mercenary group can capture a level 9 holy beast, I will give you a green spirit pill to help it advance," Len Ruoxua promised. The two major mercenary groups, Hurricane and Universe, had always been on good terms with her since she saved them last time. Len Ruoxua also had a good impression of those hot-blooded and forthright men in these two major mercenary groups, so she would help as much as she could on simple things. "Ruoxua, I really want to capture a level 9 holy beast, but I'm afraid it's impossible with the strength of our mercenary group." Zhu Ri sighed with some regret. "Big Brother Zhu, you can lure them with benefits. Level 9 holy beasts are all smart. If you force it, it will only cause both sides to suffer," Len Ruoxua reminded with a light smile. "Lure? Is that possible?" Zhu Ri looked at Len Ruoxua doubtfully. "Are level 9 holy beasts so easy to entice? How would you know if you don't try? Many of my beasts delivered themselves to my door," Len Ruoxua said proudly. "Ah. I'll give it a try if there's a chance." Zhu Ri nodded seriously. Chapter 257, Which one did you abduct? 3. They chatted for a while more, and then Zhu Ri got up to leave. "Lu Tao, no one will bother me anymore, right?" Her eyes closed, Len Ruoxua asked Lu Tao, who was not far away. "There should be no one else," Lu Tao replied, somewhat dumbfounded. "It seems like Miss really hates socializing." Mississippi. Feng De walked into the garden just as Lu Tao finished speaking. Lu Tao stood in front of Feng De like an old hen and shouted with a displeased face, "What are you doing here? Miss is going to sleep." Tower, I have something to tell Mississippi." Feng De scratched his head shyly. "I told you not to call me Tower," Lu Tao said unhappily while rolling her eyes at Feng De. But her cheeks were slightly red, and her expression was a little unnatural. "It's nice to be called Tower." "How endearing," Len Ruoxua, who was pretending to be sleeping with her eyes closed, suddenly said. In fact, she had long discovered that there was something going on between the two of them. But she had been pretending not to know anything. But now, she wanted to tease them. To be honest, seeing that they were not making much progress, she was a little anxious. Alas! She didn't want this pair of lovers to be as dull-witted as she was and only know the importance of each other after losing each other. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but feel lucky that Freak was not dead. She just didn't know when he would return to her side. "Miss." Lu Tao blushed and ran away. Fengde, why aren't you chasing after her? Leng Ruoxue urged Fengde, who was standing there foolishly. Ah! Fengde reacted and hurriedly chased after her. We can finally have some peace and quiet. Leng Ruoxue raised the little silver mink in her arms to her eyes. Shuer, why do you always like to lift me up? The little mink said unhappily. I'm totally exposed in this position. Boo-hoo. Ha! Because I find you more adorable this way, Leng Ruoxue said with a chuckle. For the past half a year, her grandfather and the others had all gone into seclusion. She moved all the people she had hidden, apart from the students of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy and the members of the imperial family of the Southern Dusk Empire, into the space to live at the request of Old Man and Patriarch Feng. She also sent Old Yu and the others in at the same time. Her team was growing. Moreover, almost everyone chose to enter seclusion simultaneously after entering the space. Now, only she, the little mink, Lu Tao, and Fengde were staying in the huge general's mansion. 2 hours later, Fengde and Lu Tao appeared holding hands in front of Leng Ruoxue. Fengde, you're not allowed to bully Lu Tao. Leng Ruoxue warned half-jokingly. Miss. Lu Tao's beautiful face blushed shyly, slightly embarrassed. Miss, don't worry. Lu Tao will be the head of our family from now on. I definitely won't dare to bully her, Fengde promised very seriously. His handsome face was full of satisfaction. He, who was an orphan, finally had a family. Very good. Leng Ruoxue nodded in satisfaction. By the way, miss, the president of the mercenary union just came to see me, Fengde said. What's the matter? Leng Ruoxue asked with a frown. He said that our Blazing Flame mercenary group can already advance to an rank mercenary group, so he wants us to advance, Fengde quickly explained. Is that all? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows in disbelief. Yes, he didn't say anything else. Miss, should we advance? Fengde couldn't help asking. What for? Troublesome. I think F rank is pretty good, Leng Ruoxue said without much interest. But she couldn't help wondering if the mercenary union was so free that it had the time to think about such a trivial matter. Yes, F rank is so different. Fengde quickly echoed. Fortunately, he had long guessed that the young lady would not be interested, so he didn't decide on his own to upgrade the mercenary group's rank. Sigh. I wonder how long Grandpa and the others plan to be in seclusion. Leng Ruoxue murmured to herself as she looked at the slightly deserted general's mansion. Miss, are you bored? Why don't we take on some mercenary missions to have fun? Lu Tao suggested. She was also a little bored staying at home all day. Okay. Fengde, go to Hurricane and see if there are any missions. Tell them to count us in, Leng Ruoxue ordered. She didn't want Fengde to go to the mercenary union to take on missions. That would attract too much attention, and her principle was to keep a low profile. I'll go right away, Fengde quickly replied and turned to leave. An hour later, Fengde returned. Miss, they just received a training mission, Fengde reported. Where are we going? Leng Ruoxue asked lightly without even looking up. To the misty woods. There? It's boring there. The level of the spirit beasts is low. Get them to go to the illusionary forest. Leng Ruoxue suggested after some thought. I already mentioned it to them. Alas. He knew that his young lady wouldn't be satisfied with the misty woods, so he had already told them in advance. Moreover, Zhu Ri happened to want to go to the illusionary forest to look for holy beasts, so he agreed without even thinking. In fact, only fools would disagree. When do we set off? Tomorrow morning. Oh, then let's rest early today. Leng Ruoxue returned to her room. The next morning, Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived at the Hurricane Mercenary Group's headquarters on time. 3 months ago, the Hurricane Mercenary Group had moved their headquarters from lunar capital to Phoenix City. Upon seeing Leng Ruoxue, Commander Zhu took the initiative to greet her warmly. Hee, Ruoxue, you're here. Uncle Ju, Grandpa, and the others are in seclusion. I came here because I was bored, not to snatch business from you. Leng Ruoxue teased. Hee, you are really too naughty. You even want to tease an old man like me. But you don't have to snatch anything. Which mission do you fancy? Uncle Ju will take the initiative to deliver it to you, Commander Ju said happily. Leng Ruoxue had saved their lives, but even if she hadn't, he wouldn't be able to refuse such a beautiful and cute little girl. Chapter 258, Which one did you abduct? 4. Ruoxue, let's go. Ju Ri was already standing beside Leng Ruoxue at this moment. Leng Ruoxue nodded, and the group left the Hurricane Mercenary Group's headquarters and set off for the agreed-upon location. Looking at their backs as they left, Commander Ju couldn't help sighing in his heart. He really didn't know what kind of man was worthy of such an outstanding girl. Big Brother Ju, what kind of person is the client? Leng Ruoxue chatted with Ju Ri on the way. A new aristocratic family, I guess. Ju Ri explained. Oh, I hope he isn't some useless rich second-generation heir, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Currently, there was only one country on the Ling Feng continent, the Southern Dusk Empire. After the spiritual deities were eliminated, the old patriarch of the Eastern Lagoon Empire made it clear that they were not establishing their own country. Therefore, the Southern Dusk Empire became the only country on the continent and changed its name to the Great Southern Dusk Empire. Moreover, other than the original territory of the Eastern Lagoon Empire, all the areas on the Ling Feng continent had already become the territory of the Great Southern Dusk Empire. Of course, this was also tacitly approved by Leng Ruoxue and the others. In addition to the establishment of the Great Southern Dusk Empire with irresistible force, many aristocratic families emerged like bamboo shoots after the rain. But the current families could not be compared with the former 5 great families because they were completely under the jurisdiction of the imperial authority. As the former number 1 family, the Huo family naturally didn't want to be controlled by others. Therefore, the Huo family set up their family in the second largest city in the Eastern Lagoon Empire and changed its name to Fire City. After several months of hard work, the Huo family regained its position as the number 1 family. Huo Qing had returned to the family after the patriarch of the Huo family found him. He was still the young master of the Huo family. Even though the current Eastern Lagoon Empire didn't have an imperial family, it adopted the system of city lords managing it. However, it was not easy to become a city lord. You had to go through numerous assessments and tests to become a city lord. After the tests, the citizens would vote in the end. It could be said that Leng Ruoxue had brought the democratic system of her previous world over. Probably not. I've already explained the conditions to them clearly. Ju Ri smiled. He admired the rules of the Blazing Flame mercenary group, and he had implemented certain regulations according to them. So now, the cohesion and loyalty of the entire mercenary group were incomparable to before. I hope so. Big Brother Ju. A beautiful girl dashed over like a butterfly before Leng Ruoxue and the others reached the gathering point. Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows slightly when she saw the girl, and she glanced at Ju Ri with a bit of teasing. It seems that Big Brother Ju is lucky in love. I hope she isn't a troublesome rotten love interest, Leng Ruoxue thought. Ruoxue, don't talk nonsense. I've only met her once. There's nothing between us. Ju Ri rolled his eyes helplessly. His mind was on cultivation now, so he had no time to think about these trivial things. Alas. It seems that Ruoxue has been too bored recently. Big Brother Ju, you're finally here. The beautiful girl had already run to Ju Ri. But she only had eyes for Ju Ri and automatically filtered Leng Ruoxue and the others beside Ju Ri out. Leng Ruoxue and the others tactfully left Ju Ri's side to avoid becoming third wheels. Xiang Dong, who is that woman? Feng De asked curiously. She's the client of our mission, the daughter of a newly risen aristocratic family, the captain of the Hurricane Mercenary Group explained softly. She's not a troublesome woman, is she? Fengde asked with a slight headache. He was very uninterested in women other than his young lady and the women around her now. I'm not sure either, Xiang Dong said speechlessly. But he was thinking in his heart, what kind of woman is considered troublesome to Fengde? Ruoxue, she is the client of our mercenary group, Ma Yuro, the eldest young lady of the Ma family, the second largest family in Fire City. Zhu Ri led Ma Yuro to Leng Ruoxue. Miss Ma, she is Miss Ruoxue from our mercenary group. Zhu Ri very politely introduced the two. They nodded at each other, making acquaintances. Big brother Zhu, let's go quickly. Ma Yuro said impatiently. Zhu Ri looked at Leng Ruoxue and said helplessly, okay. Miss, looks like you really don't get along well with women. That Miss Ma doesn't have a good impression of you. Fengde whispered to Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes at Fengde and said nonchalantly, she's just a passerby. Why would I care? Leng Ruoxue and the others followed Zhu Ri to the gathering point. On the spacious ground, two enormous flying spirit beasts were descending. Miss Ruoxue, I'm so sorry. My flying spirit beasts are too small and can't seat many people. Why don't you sit with my subordinates? Ma Yuro looked at Leng Ruoxue in slight embarrassment. Leng Ruoxue glanced at the two spirit beasts and said coldly, thank you for your kind intentions, Miss Ma. I have my own spirit beasts. Ruoxue. Zhu Ri looked at Leng Ruoxue awkwardly and was annoyed at Ma Yuro even more. Humph. She's just the daughter of a nouveau riche. He wondered what the Ma family would think if they knew that their beloved daughter was so against someone they would never be able to curry favor with in this life. Big brother Zhu, sit with Miss Ma. Don't worry about me, Leng Ruoxue said understandingly and gave Zhu Ri a look. Okay then. Zhu Ri nodded helplessly and hopped onto Ma Yuro's flying spirit beast. Miss Leng, our spirit beasts fly very quickly, so you have to follow us and don't lose sight of us, Ma Yuro said with concern, then ordered her spirit beasts to take off. Don't worry. I'll keep up, Leng Ruoxue said gratefully. Miss, shall we set off? Fengde said helplessly when he saw that the two spirit beasts had already flown far away. Alas! It seems that Miss has really been too bored recently. Chapter 259, Give me a reason to take you in, 1, let's go. Leng Ruoxue summoned Quill and also released the little mink, who she had placed in her space. My dear Quill, let's fly slower so that we don't scare the two beasts, Leng Ruoxue said very kindly as she lay comfortably on Quill's back. Yes, master, Quill answered with some difficulty, his face full of black lines. Boo-hoo. How slow will I have to fly so that I won't surpass those two spirit beasts? I thought you would ride the fire dragon. Leng Ruoxue teased Fengde and Lu Tao when she saw them sitting up. Miss. That dragon is too eye-catching. Can't we ride a few ordinary flying beasts? Fengde said with a bitter face. Since they became famous, he didn't dare to ride the fire dragon at all. Otherwise, he would definitely be recognized. Quill, do you know any flying spirit beasts? Leng Ruoxue asked after some thought. Yes, but their levels aren't high, Quill said after some thought. It's okay. They just need to fly fast, Fengde said quickly. Yes, level isn't important, Leng Ruoxue agreed. They indeed needed a few ordinary flying spirit beasts. Then I'll look for them when we reach the illusionary forest, Quill said reluctantly. Boo-hoo. Am I going to lose my job? Leng Ruoxue nodded, closed her eyes, and fell silent. After flying for more than 10 hours, they finally arrived at Willow City. Everyone stopped outside the city and walked into Willow City. It's getting late, so let's stay here for the night and go tomorrow morning. Zhu Ri said as he looked at the sky in front of an inn. Okay, well listen to Big Brother Zhu, Ma Yuro said in agreement. What? Are you planning to train during the day and come out of the forest at night? Leng Ruoxue suddenly asked. Of course not. We're going to camp in the forest at night. Ma Yuro raised her chin proudly. I don't see that intent in your actions, Leng Ruoxue said calmly. Zhu Ri understood what Ruoxue meant. He looked at the two groups and continued, let's go straight into the forest. Big brother Zhu, it's already so late, and we're all tired. Let's go tomorrow. Ma Yuro said coquettishly. After flying for so long, all she wanted now was a good night's sleep. Yuro, don't be willful. Listen to young Master Zhu, a middle-aged man scolded. Second uncle. This isn't the Ma family residence. You can't be willful, Ma Zhongxian, the second uncle of the Ma family, said in a non-negotiable tone. All right. Big brother Zhu, I'll listen to you. Ma Yuro compromised. Her second uncle's status in the family was second only to her father's, so she didn't dare to disobey him. Let's go, Zhu Ri said lightly. They slowly walked toward the illusionary forest. Miss, are you hungry? There's some jerky here. Have some. In the forest, Lu Tao took out a piece of jerky and handed it to Leng Ruoxue as if no one else was around. Leng Ruoxue took the jerky, took a small bite, and fed the rest to the little mink in her arms. Xiang Dong walked to Zhu Ri's side. Young master, let's camp here tonight. Zhu Ri looked at the current terrain and nodded. The mercenary group and the Ma family started to set up camp. For this mission, the Hurricane mercenary group was only responsible for the safety of the Ma family. Everything else would require the client to do themselves. Moreover, with the status of the Hurricane mercenary group, the Ma family didn't dare to order them around like subordinates. Therefore, everyone in the Ma family was very respectful to the people of the Hurricane mercenary group. Leng Ruoxue's trio deliberately found a corner position. Feng De set up the tent, Lu Tao sorted the ingredients, and Leng Ruoxue concentrated on being an arm-flinging shopkeeper. She took out a recliner and lay on it uncomfortably. Ma Yuro walked to Leng Ruoxue's side and said politely, Miss Ruoxue, I didn't bring a maidservant with me on this trip. Could you lend me your maidservant? Why didn't Miss Ma bring a maidservant along? Isn't it inconvenient when you go? Leng Ruoxue said coldly without even looking up. My father said that training outside means to endure hardships. If you bring a maidservant, you might as well be a young lady at home. Ma Yuro said with a face full of pride. What she implied was that Leng Ruoxue couldn't endure hardships at all, and this was not a place to enjoy. That makes sense. But if I were you, I wouldn't even bring a guard, Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Miss Ruoxue, you brought a guard and a maidservant. What right do you have to criticize me? Ma Yuro said angrily. She had to maintain the demeanor of a noble young lady in front of Zhu Ri, but she couldn't help cursing in her heart. Big sister, that woman is cursing you in her head. Baby in the bracelet suddenly sent a voice transmission. Miss Ma, I didn't come out to train, so why should I suffer? Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly while replying to Baby, I know. Miss Ruoxue, you haven't answered me yet. Are you going to lend me your maidservant? Ma Yuran held back her anger and maintained her smile. You have to ask my maidservant. I have no objections if she's willing to serve you. Leng Ruoxue kicked the ball at Lu Tao. After hearing what Leng Ruoxue said, Ma Yuro simply walked directly to Lu Tao and said arrogantly, Your young lady has already lent you to me. From now on, you will stay by my side and serve me. And she even raised her head high as if she was doing Lu Tao a favor. Get lost. Lu Tao looked at her young miss and couldn't bear it anymore. She roared and deliberately released a little mite. Aha! Ma Yuro was so scared that she fell to the ground with horror in her heart. How can this maidservant be so strong? She's just a maidservant. I'm sorry, senior. My niece is insensible. Please calm down and don't take issue with her. Ma Zhongxian, who heard the commotion, hurriedly came in front of Lu Tao and bowed respectfully. He was also very terrified in his heart at this moment. He really didn't expect this maidservant to be a spiritual sovereign, and her strength was clearly above his. He was only an elementary spiritual sovereign, so wouldn't this woman be at least an intermediate spiritual sovereign or even higher? Chapter 260, Give me a reason to take you in. 2. This was too terrifying. Ma Zhongxian really didn't know what kind of family would have even a spiritual sovereign as a maidservant. Humph. How dare she ask me to serve her? Is she worthy? Lu Tao snorted coldly. Tower, why lower yourself to the level of a small family who has never seen the world? Let's not be angry. Feng De walked over, gently hugged Lu Tao, and coaxed her. Okay, look after that self-righteous niece of yours. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that she will still be alive next time, Lu Tao said domineeringly, already possessing the aura of a powerhouse. Young master, should we go and persuade them? Xiang Dong, who was watching the commotion not far away, asked softly. No need. Ruoxue won't go too far, Zhu Ri said nonchalantly as his eyes drifted toward Leng Ruoxue. Senior, don't worry. I will take care of her. Ma Zhongxian rolled his eyes at his niece and hurriedly promised. But his heart was full of suspicion. Who are these three people? Hurry up and take her out of my sight, Lu Tao said irritably. Yes, we won't disturb you any further. Ma Zhongxian pulled his niece up from the ground and quickly disappeared from Lu Tao's sight. Although he didn't like this niece of his, he wouldn't be able to explain it to his brother if anything happened to her. Mississippi. Lu Tao looked at Leng Ruoxue aggrievedly and pouted. Hee, our Lu Tao is so imposing. Even I, your miss, am scared of you, Leng Ruoxue teased happily. Miss, Lu Tao is going to ignore you. Lu Tao turned her head angrily and concentrated on starting the fire. Alas. I'm so sad. The cute Lu Tao is actually ignoring me, Leng Ruoxue said with a face full of self-blaming. Swear, you still have me. I won't ignore you. The little silver mink didn't let go of any opportunity to make his intentions clear. My little mink is still the best. Leng Ruoxue exclaimed happily. Ruoxue, your life is really enviable. Zhu Ri walked over. Big brother Zhu, you can do the same if you want, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. I hope so. Zhu Ri said. He knew his responsibilities and knew that he would never be able to live as he pleased like Ruoxue. Miss, food is ready. Lu Tao walked over. Big brother Zhu, let's eat together. Leng Ruoxue invited. Then I won't hold back. Zhu Ri couldn't ask for more. Ruoxue, what you're eating is too much. Zhu Ri came to the table and was a little dumbfounded. Isn't the food a little too extravagant? Comparisons are odious. Really? This is already considered simple, Leng Ruoxue said honestly. She had always had high requirements for food. And as time passed, her subordinates' appetites had also become picky. But look at what our mercenary group and the Ma family are eating. And look at you guys. The difference is too big, Zhu Ri said helplessly. He felt inferior compared to Ruoxue. Big brother Zhu, ask your subordinates to come and eat together. Leng Ruoxue was a little embarrassed to eat alone after hearing what he said. Ruoxue, then we won't stand on ceremony. Xiang Dong, come eat with us. Zhu Ri quickly beckoned to his subordinates, as if he was afraid that Leng Ruoxue would regret it. Coming. Xiang Dong and the others ran over excitedly. Everyone gathered and had a lively dinner. After the meal, Xiang Dong and the others took the initiative to wash the dishes. Second uncle, they are too much. Ma Yuro sat in the distance, her face full of injustice. Why did they have fish, meat, and soup, eating an incomparably sumptuous dinner, while they could only gnaw on hard, dry food? Shut up and don't cause any more trouble. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences yourself, Ma Zhongxian threatened. This spoiled eldest young lady was the most troublesome among the younger generation of the Ma family. After eating, Leng Ruoxue and the others went to rest. The next morning, Leng Ruoxue found Zhu Ri, greeted him, and left the team temporarily. After they walked out of the sight of Zhu Ri and the others, Leng Ruoxue summoned Quill. Quill, take us there. Master, come sit on me. Quill enlarged. After Leng Ruoxue and the others sat on Quill's back, he led them directly to the Eagle tribe's territory. Master, I asked them yesterday, and they should give me an answer today, Quill said. After arriving at the forest yesterday, he had specially gone to the Eagle tribe to convey his master's intentions to his tribe. But the eagles were hesitant at the time, so he gave them a day to consider. Well done, Leng Ruoxue praised as she caressed Quill's soft feathers. After flying for about 15 minutes, Quill pointed at a place in the forest and said, Master, that's it. Quill found a place to land and was instantly surrounded by a group of eagles. Quill, we've thought about it, one of the snow-white eagles said first. Quill nodded and motioned the snow eagle to continue. We are willing to acknowledge humans as our masters, the snow eagle said directly. It was a level 8 holy beast. In the past, its strength was on par with Quill's. But Quill was now a divine beast, while it had yet to advance. Therefore, it decided to be like Quill and acknowledge a human as its master. However, I have a condition, the snow eagle continued. What condition? Quill asked in puzzlement. The snow eagle hesitated but still said, I want to acknowledge you as my master. What? Quill was so angry. Boo-hoo. It's indeed here to snatch my job. While Quill was communicating with the snow eagle, Leng Ruoxue glanced at the eagles surrounding them. Most of them were level 5 holy beasts, and a few were level 4. This snow eagle had the highest level apart from Quill. Give me a reason to take you in. Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows as she stared at the snow eagle. I want to become strong. I want to become a divine beast. I am already a level 8 holy beast. If I want to advance, I need a powerful master. Moreover, I fly fast, and I can provide warmth in the winter and am cool in the summer. Using me as a mount is absolutely comfortable and safe. In addition, I'm good at making my master happy, and I can sing. After hearing what Leng Ruoxue said, the snow eagle began to tell her everything it could do, talking non-stop. This human woman should be Quill's master, so I have to perform well, lest she looks down on me. Chapter 261, Give me a reason to take you in. 3. Stop. That's enough. Leng Ruoxue was flabbergasted and stopped the talkative snow eagle from continuing. Who knew what it would say next? Then, will you accept me? The snow eagle suddenly became a little shy and lowered its head, not daring to look at Leng Ruoxue. Miss, please take it. It's so pitiful. Lu Tao couldn't help pleading. In order to express its loyalty, this snow eagle explained everything it could, even including its 8 generations of ancestry. Moreover, it pretended to be pitiful and cute, making Lu Tao unable to bear seeing it like this. On account that my maidservant pleaded on your behalf, I'll accept you. Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. Thank you, master. The snow eagle quickly initiated the contract, as if it was afraid that Leng Ruoxue would regret it. Lu Tao, Feng De, choose one each too. Leng Ruoxue said after the contract was completed. Okay. Feng De and Lu Tao each chose an eagle that looked more pleasing to the eye to contract. After that, Leng Ruoxue took the other holy beasts willing to acknowledge her as their master into the bracelet, and the 3 of them left this place. After returning to where they camped last night, Leng Ruoxue found that Zhu Ri and the others had left, so they chased after them. Master, Zhu Ri and the others seem to be in trouble, Quill said after confirming their location with his X-ray vision. Is it big trouble? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Yes, they encountered a level 9 holy beast, Quill explained. A level 9 holy beast? Leng Ruoxue smiled gently. Big brother just luck is pretty good. He just happens to need a level 9 holy beast when one came knocking on his door. Master, that level 9 holy beast should be an earth demon bear. It's very strong and has high defense. The snow eagle transformed into a small white bird and landed on Leng Ruoxu's shoulder. It should be called Snow Maple now. Who is more powerful, this bear or the King Kong great ape? Leng Ruoxu asked. They are equally strong. They are spirit beasts with both offensive and defensive capabilities, Snow Maple explained. Oh, Quill, let's not get close unless their lives are in danger, Leng Ruoxu ordered after some thought. This was a rare opportunity. She hoped Big Brother Ju could grasp it. Quill nodded and found a suitable spot to hide and observe secretly. At this time, Ju Ri was covered in cold sweat as he faced a level 9 holy beast releasing its immense might. This holy beast was equivalent to a human spiritual supremacy. Moreover, it seemed that this bear didn't have a good temper. I don't want to fight with you. Let's talk. Ju Ri gathered his courage to say. He really didn't know how Ruoxu managed to convince her beasts. To be honest, he didn't think this bear would be able to reason with him, nor did he think he had Ruoxu's charm to entice spirit beasts. Human, don't try to stall for time. You are all dead. The earth demon bear, whose body was nearly 3 meters tall and earthly yellow, roared like thunder, demonstrating its current anger. Ju Ri glanced at his subordinates and the Ma family members, who had fainted from the might of the earth demon bear, and summoned up his courage to say, Senior, we really didn't mean to disturb your cultivation. In this world, the strong were respected. Be it humans or spirit beasts, as long as they were strong, they should be respected. Therefore, Ju Ri placed himself as a junior and only hoped that this earth demon bear would be lenient with them. You make it sound so good. I was cultivating at a critical point when you interrupted me. You caused me to be unable to advance and almost enter cultivation deviation. But you still have the delusion that I will let you go. What a lunatic's dream, the earth demon bear said fiercely through gritted teeth. This human was actually quite strong. He actually didn't faint from its might. Senior, I have a way to promote you, Ju Ri said after some thought. What method do you have? The earth demon bear's curiosity was completely piqued by Ju Ri. It couldn't be helped. The allure of advancement was just too great. I have a friend who's an alchemist. She has pills that can promote a level 9 holy beast. She promised to give me one, but you have to contract with me first, Ju Ri explained, a little scared. Hopefully, this bear would be enticed. Human, how dare you trick me into contracting with you? There's no such pill in the world. The earth demon bear didn't believe Ju Ri's words at all. Senior, how about this? Trust me for now. I'll bring you to see her. You can contract with me after you confirm my words. How about that? Ju Ri said carefully after thinking quickly. But he was screaming in his heart, Ruoxu, where are you? I'm waiting for you to save me. Okay, I will believe you for the time being. The earth demon bear pondered for a long time before finally nodding its head in agreement. It was very confident in its own strength and believed that this puny human wouldn't dare to play any tricks. Do you want to see me? Leng Ruoxu slowly walked out from her hiding place. Ruoxu. Ju Ri was excited to see his wish come true. Big Bear. If you form a contract with Big Brother Ju, he'll give you a green spirit pill concocted from a green spirit fruit, Leng Ruoxu said directly, not giving the earth demon bear any chance to speak. Really? I want to inspect the goods first, the earth demon bear said with a look of joy but was still not blinded by it. Okay. Leng Ruoxu took out a green spirit pill and handed it to the earth demon bear. Well, this bear is pretty smart. It's really concocted from a green spirit fruit. The earth demon bear looked at the green pill, and its eyes lit up with excitement. I'm willing to enter into a soul contract with this human. The Earth Demon Bear couldn't wait any longer and voluntarily entered into a soul contract. For you. Leng Ruoxue kept her promise and handed the pill to the Earth Demon Bear after seeing that the contract was completed. The Earth Demon Bear took the pill and threw it directly into its big mouth. Girl, the creek of Affinity Mystic Realm is about to appear. At this moment, Butterfly's voice suddenly sounded in Leng Ruoxue's mind. Really? Leng Ruoxue was surprised. Is it finally going to appear? So many things have happened because of the spots. It will be best if there's something interesting there. Otherwise, I will definitely regret letting the mystic realm appear. Chapter 262, Entering the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, 1, Yes, I can feel it, Butterfly said proudly. Since it was the envoy of the mystic realm, its senses couldn't be wrong. When will it appear? Leng Ruoxue continued asking. A week later, Butterfly answered. Where is it? There's no fixed location. After the mystic realm opens, anyone with a spot can be teleported in automatically, Butterfly explained. Boo-hoo. After being aggrieved for so long, I'm finally going to have a use. Girl. You will very much need me in the mystic realm, so you have to treat me better from now on. Butterfly was a little smug again. Get lost. Go somewhere else. Leng Ruoxue roared furiously. This damn butterfly really didn't know how to behave. Girl, you're not gentle at all. You have to learn from Ruhan. As a girl, you can't behave like this, Butterfly said fearfully. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxue's forehead. She broke the connection with Butterfly without hesitation and turned her gaze to the big bear. At this moment, the bear had already completed its advancement and was sitting on the ground in a daze. Ju Ri was currently in the midst of his advancement because he had contracted with it and obtained many benefits. 15 minutes later, Ju Ri completed his advancement. His face was full of disbelief as he looked at his stage. Heavens! Is this real? I actually advanced 2 stages and am now at peak spiritual sovereign. Wasn't this a little too easy? Ahem. Leng Ruoxue deliberately coughed twice to wake up the stunned human and beast. Master. The Earth Demon Bear looked at Ju Ri happily. It was now a divine beast. Boo-hoo. It really wasn't easy. Big Bear, congratulations, Ju Ri said happily. After the master and beast communicated enough, they finally remembered Leng Ruoxue. Ruoxue, thank you so much, Ju Ri said gratefully. Thank you, Big Bear said, its fluffy head showing a shy expression. You're welcome. Big Bear, you have to protect Big Brother Ju from now on. Leng Ruoxue reminded him. Yes. Big Bear nodded. It had to protect its master. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to survive either if anything happened to its master. Big Brother Ju, what happened? Leng Ruoxue looked at the unconscious Xiang Dong and the others on the ground. Ah! Don't mention it. Ju Ri sighed heavily. If not for Ruoxue, their team would have become the sacrificial lambs to Big Bear's anger. That woman interrupted my cultivation. I was originally just a little away from advancement, but because of her, all my efforts were in vain. Thinking of this, Big Bear was still very angry. Big Brother Ju, let's go back after waking them up. Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. The mystic realm was about to open, so she had to prepare early. Okay, Ju Ri agreed. Since this close call happened, he was no longer in the mood to continue protecting them and training them. Young master, run. There's a bear. Xiang Dong's memory still lingered from before he fainted, so he shouted excitedly after waking up. Calm down. It's okay. Ju Ri patted his shoulder to console him. Okay. Xiang Dong's mind slowly became clear. The others were not much better than Xiang Dong. After comforting the mercenary group, Ju Ri walked to Ma Zhongxian and said directly, Elder Ma, let's go back. Okay, let's go back. Ma Zhongxian said helplessly. After what happened, he didn't have the face to ask them to continue protecting them. After all, they had discussed it beforehand. What? Go back? No, second uncle, we can't go back. I haven't found a spirit beast I like yet. Ma Yuro yelled in disapproval when she heard their conversation. It's not up to you. Ma Zhongxian glared at his niece coldly. Because of her willfulness, they had almost lost their lives. Moreover, even though the Hurricane mercenary group didn't say it explicitly, it was obvious that they wouldn't care about their lives if they insisted on staying here. It was really too unwise to sacrifice all their lives for such a willful niece. Second uncle, did you forget what father said before we left? Ma Yuro immediately brought up her father when she saw that her second uncle didn't listen to her. I will explain this matter to Big Brother, Ma Zhongxian said uncompromisingly. Big Brother Ju, I don't want to leave this place. Ma Yuro looked at Ju Ri with tears in her eyes, hoping to move him with her tears. Stay here by yourself then. Ju Ri said coldly. Then he turned and left, too lazy to entertain her any further. Ma Zhongxian glanced at his niece indifferently and ordered the others from the Ma family, gather and prepare to leave. Even after everyone sat on the flying spirit beasts, Ma Yuro remained motionless. Yuro, we're leaving if you don't want to come up, Ma Zhongxian said impatiently and gave an ultimatum. Ma Yuro sat on a spirit beast's back unwillingly, still resentful. At night, everyone returned to Phoenix City on the spirit beasts. Big Brother Ju, let's part here. Leng Ruoxue said after entering Phoenix City. Okay. Ju re-watched Leng Ruoxue leave before leaving with his team. After returning to the general's mansion, Leng Ruoxue directly entered the bracelet. Butterfly, Leng Ruoxue called softly in the space. Girl, I'm here. Did you miss me? The big purple butterfly fluttered its wings and appeared in front of Leng Ruoxue. Can you be more normal? I have something to ask you. Leng Ruoxue helplessly wiped the cold sweat off her forehead. She was really helpless in front of Butterfly. Girl, ask away. I will tell you everything I know, Butterfly promised after circling around. Okay. Tell me about the mystic realm first. What's inside? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Chapter 263, Entering the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, 2, Haha, you've asked the right person. No one is more familiar with that place than me. There are all sorts of treasures and spirit beasts there. Moreover, the lowest level ones are holy beasts. But whether you can contract with them will depend on your ability. Luck is extremely important there. If you are lucky, perhaps all the treasures will be yours. If you are unlucky, many people will snatch them from you. So, it's also very dangerous there, and there will often be fights. Therefore, after entering the mystic realm, you must be on alert, in case you accidentally lose your life, Butterfly reminded very kindly. However, you will only face 10% of the dangers you would have originally faced with me as your guide. Therefore, I am very important. Butterfly revealed its true nature. Butterfly, aren't only 200 people allowed in? How can it be dangerous? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement, ignoring Butterfly's smugness. With their strength, the others shouldn't be their opponents. How is that possible? The mystic realm only appears once every 1,000 years. Butterfly exclaimed. Make yourself clear, Leng Ruoxue ordered as she grabbed Butterfly. Girl, let go. I can't breathe. Do you want to murder me? Arg, Butterfly struggled and wailed aggrievedly. I'm sorry. Tell me. Leng Ruoxue quickly let go, but she couldn't help muttering in her heart, does a sprite need to breathe? Girl, the Ling Feng continent is not the only dimension in the vast universe. The Ling Feng continent is the lowest level dimension, but it's not the only low-level dimension. There are tens of thousands or even more dimensions of this level. As a spiritual treasured space born of the cosmos, our creek of affinity mystic realm is naturally impossible to appear in only one dimension. Therefore, other low-level dimensions can also obtain spots for the creek of affinity mystic realm, Butterfly explained in detail. So, we might encounter people from other low-level dimensions after we enter the mystic realm? Leng Ruoxue asked. Yes, that's possible. But the mystic realm is immense, and there won't be many of them, so don't worry. Butterfly thought Leng Ruoxue was scared and quickly comforted her. Leng Ruoxue nodded thoughtfully and continued, Butterfly, I remember you saying that having you by my side will be beneficial. Now, can you tell me what the benefits are? Isn't it enough to have me as your guide? Butterfly's eyes widened in disbelief, but it couldn't help muttering in its heart, this girl's appetite is really big. What do you think? Leng Ruoxue asked instead of answering. She glanced at Butterfly with very unfriendly eyes. Girl, it'll allow you to bring more people in. That should be enough, right? Butterfly asked cautiously, its black eyes blinking non-stop. That's more like it. Leng Ruoxue nodded in satisfaction. If more people could enter, they would be able to help her pick herbs if they encountered any. Girl, how many people do you plan to bring in? Butterfly asked curiously. Guess. Leng Ruoxue smiled evilly. Don't tell me you want to bring everyone in. Butterfly couldn't help guessing, its little heart trembling. Hopefully not. Or else the boss won't let me go. So smart. You got it right, Leng Ruoxue praised. She looked at Butterfly's crying face and almost laughed out loud. Girl, let's discuss this. Can you not bring so many people in? Butterfly begged pitifully as though it was about to cry. Give me a reason, Leng Ruoxue said without hesitation. The boss will kill me if you bring too many people in. Boo-hoo, Butterfly cried. Then how many people do you think I can bring in? Leng Ruoxue asked very nicely. Seeing that there was a way out, Butterfly quickly said, 1,000, at most 1,000 people. There really cannot be more. Alright, 1,000 people it is. Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. In fact, she didn't intend to bring too many people in. She was just teasing it. Ah! Girl, you are so good. Butterfly happily circled around Leng Ruoxue. As it danced, a light golden powder sprinkled down, showing its good mood. It really didn't expect the girl to be so easy to talk to, hee. It sniggered wretchedly in its heart. After clarifying what she wanted to know, Leng Ruoxue called out to the space, Qingju, big sister. Qingju instantly appeared in front of Leng Ruoxue. Qingju, help me wake Grandpa and the others up. Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Yes, big sister, Qingju answered and immediately awakened Ling Qingtian and the others, who were cultivating. Shuer, what's the matter? Ling Qingtian emerged from his bamboo house. Ruoxue, why are you looking for us? Lin Liang walked out after him. The two old men looked at each other and then at Leng Ruoxue in bewilderment. 10 minutes later, the people Leng Ruoxue was looking for gradually arrived, and then she explained what happened to them. Really, this is great. Ling Qingtian exclaimed happily after hearing the news. The Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm. It was the dream of many spiritual supremacies, but only 200 people could enter. Therefore, the various forces would resort to all sorts of means to secure spots every time the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm appeared. To think that this old man can still visit the mystic realm in my lifetime. Alas! Old man sighed. It was precisely because my master entered the mystic realm that he obtained a pill that allowed him to advance to spiritual deity all those years ago. He then went to the upper realm. I wonder how he's doing now. Lin Liang sighed. Shuer, how many people do you intend to bring in? Ling Qingtian asked curiously. He didn't expect the little butterfly to have such authority. Apart from the mercenary group, there's you guys. I don't intend to bring anyone else in, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. The others were not strong, so it would be useless for them to go in. She would even have to take care of them. Instead of doing that, it was better to let them stay in the bracelet to cultivate. Chapter 264, Entering the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, 3, yes, it's enough to bring us. Leng Qingtian nodded in agreement. Lass, after we enter, we have to gather materials for artificing. I heard there are a lot of them, old Zhao reminded. There were so many artificers in their team that there weren't enough materials to go around. Not only artificing materials. We also need to gather herbs, Leng Ruoxue added. She had long thought about not letting these go. Yes. You and little brat Lu are alchemists. Old Zhao agreed. In every world, alchemists, artificers, and beast trainers had very high statuses, so these things were very important to them. Grandpa, let's prepare over the next few days. Leng Ruoxue reminded. Yes, we have to bring a lot of food, Leng Qingtian said. Food again. Leng Ruoxue was at a loss for words. Why can't Grandpa forget about preparing food wherever he goes? Girl, food is very important. There's nothing delicious there, Butterfly reminded Leng Ruoxue after seeing her thoughts. Grandpa, let's split up and go shopping for food, Leng Ruoxue said with some embarrassment. Ah. Grandpa is still more experienced. The older, the wiser. Okay. Let's prepare more of the various daily necessities. The space is big anyway, so there's no need to worry about it being full, Leng Qingtian said confidently. Grandpa, it's getting late. Let's go buy more tomorrow. Leng Ruoxue suggested. Leng Qingtian and the others nodded. After discussing it for a while, they returned to their rooms to sleep. 5 days later, the Listening Snow Pavilion. Leng Ruoxue was lying comfortably on the bed with the little mink in her arms while sighing in her heart. It really wasn't easy. It took 5 days to finally buy everything. These people's purchasing power is really amazing. Just thinking about the pile of things in the Space's warehouse, she felt her scalp tingling. Miss, young Master Hua is here, Lu Tao said softly from outside the door. What's he doing here? The little silver mink growled in displeasure when he heard that Hua Qing was here. Hee, it's been so long. Why are you still holding a grudge? Leng Ruoxue rubbed the smooth fur of the little mink in some amusement. Humph. He actually ordered his spirit beast to pursue me, the little silver mink said resentfully. Ha! I think it's quite funny. What a loving scene. Leng Ruoxue wanted to laugh whenever she thought of the scene that day. Swear, you're not allowed to mention it again. Boo-hoo, the little silver mink choked up. It was too embarrassing. All right. Leng Ruoxue raised the little mink in front of her helplessly. Swear, I don't like this position. I'm exposed like this. Boo-hoo, the little silver mink cried shyly. No, you aren't. Your fur blocks everything. I swear I really don't see anything. Leng Ruoxue raised her hand with a dark face and pretended to swear. She felt extremely helpless in her heart. What is this little mink thinking? Boo-hoo, the little silver mink cried even louder. Ah! Stop crying. Let's go see Hua Qing. Leng Ruoxue coaxed. This little mink is simply a replica of Freak. They are too similar. With cold sweat dripping down her forehead, Leng Ruoxue left the Listening Snow Pavilion with the little mink in her arms and went to the living room where Hua Qing was waiting for her. Why are you here? Aren't you in seclusion? Leng Ruoxue asked directly after entering the living room and sitting down at the main seat. I just came out of seclusion. I heard that you've recently bought a lot of things. Are you going on a long journey? Hua Qing was a little puzzled. With the heavenly essence pill that Ruoxue gave him, he smoothly advanced to spiritual supremacy. After advancing, he chose to enter seclusion to consolidate his cultivation. After exiting seclusion, he heard his father mention this matter, so he hurried over immediately. No, the creek of Affinity Mystic Realm is about to appear, Len Ruoxue said honestly. She didn't intend to hide this matter from Huaqing, but she wouldn't take the initiative to tell him either. Really? Huaqing stood up in surprise. Would what Butterfly told me be fake? Len Ruoxue said lightly. Then why are you buying food? Huaqing's face was full of question marks. What did the appearance of the mystic realm have to do with all that food? Butterfly said that there's nothing delicious in the mystic realm, so we prepared more food, Len Ruoxue explained. Oh. When will the creek of Affinity Mystic Realm appear? Huaqing asked, his face full of anticipation. Less than 2 days, Len Ruoxue said after calculating the time. It's not too late to prepare now, Len Ruoxue added. Okay, Ruoxue, I won't chat with you any longer today. I'm going back to prepare. Huaqing got up hurriedly and left. Humph. How pragmatic. He left so quickly after finding out about the news, the little mink said disdainfully as he watched Huaqing leave. Hee hee, isn't that normal? The attraction of the mystic realm to them is unimaginable to you, you little mink. Len Ruoxue smiled nonchalantly. Schwer, let's go to bed. The little silver mink yawned. Aren't you going to eat dinner? Len Ruoxue asked, but she was puzzled. Why does this little fellow want to sleep so early today? No, I want to sleep, the little silver mink said. Recently, he had been sleeping with Schwer every day. He was so blessed. Let's go then. Len Ruoxue walked to her room with the little mink in her arms. 2 days later, Len Ruoxue and the others slowly felt the summoning of the mystic realm. Everyone gathered together in the living room. Girl, let them into your space quickly, Butterfly suddenly yelled anxiously. Okay. Without any doubts, Len Ruoxue sent everyone and the beasts into the bracelet. Butterfly, why is this? Len Ruoxue asked when only Butterfly and she remained in the living room. The teleportation of the creek of Affinity Mystic Realm is random. I was afraid that you would be separated. Butterfly explained, blinking its shiny black eyes, you're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.